Okay, so just help. I think आप लोगों के साथ बहुत दिनों बाद क्लास हो रहा है. Approximately कितना दिन हो गया? 1-2 weeks, है ना? I think. So in the last class we covered the stages of the river, है ना? And did we do the landforms also? All the landforms? And then did I ask you to, मतलब all the landforms, as in did we get a sense of the landforms of the river? है ना? Okay. And then I asked you to complete that chapter number 7. The other remaining 4 agents and their landforms, है ना? So could you do it? Broadly हो गया, है ना? थोड़ा मोड़ा doubt होगा इधर उधर, obviously that is pretty possible, but I believe broadly तो हो ही गया होगा, ठीक है? So then what did I ask you to do next? लिख, हाँ? Latitude, longitude. So पढ़ा कुछ? Did I tell you NCERT or GC Leong and Vision IAS handout? NCERT class 6th, है ना? वहाँ दिया है because 11-12 doesn't give you latitude longitude, वहाँ कुछ mention नहीं है. And then GC Leong chapter number 1, right? And then the Vision IAS handout. So कुछ पढ़ पाए? ठीक है. Very good. So should we start with latitude longitude? Help me with one more thing. Have I done the rotation and revolution of the earth? नहीं किया है ना? Because I think when we were talking of the formation of the earth, at that time we directly moved on to the formation. हमने सिर्फ थोड़ा मोड़ा लिखा था कि earth does rotate and revolve, but उसके beyond we didn't go, right? Okay. So good. Let us come to this topic of latitude, longitude, and earth movements and their effect. ठीक है? So this is the heading that I want you to put now. Latitude, longitude, earth movements, and its effects. Latitude, longitude, earth movement, and the effect of earth movement. Excuse me. Just a sec. Right. So so when we say Earth movement, right? Uh, latitude and longitude will come in a while, but just before that, when we talk of the Earth's movement, have I talked of anything in terms of this Earth's movement? मेजर मूवमेंट और माइनर मूवमेंट कुछ भी बात कभी नहीं किया, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता यार. हाँ, कुछ तो बताया था, याद करो. ओके, विच इज द, सो लेट अस से इफ यू आर कमिंग, हाँ मतलब सर आप रिपीट कर दो जो भी बताया. हमारा क्या है, हम तो नेशनलिस्ट लोग हैं, है ना. आप लोग एंटी नेशनल हो, आप ही बताओ. एनसीईआरटी पढ़ने का टाइम कहाँ है आप लोग के पास आईएएस की तैयारी में, है ना. ट्विटर पे ही तो आधा तैयारी हो रहा है आजकल. हाँ? कितने लोग हो ट्विटर पे? मैं देखूंगा नहीं, ठीक है, नहीं तो बायस हो जाएगा. है ना, ऐसे ही लगता होगा. ठीक है, थोड़ा ही काम करो यार, आईएएस का तैयारी है, थोड़ा एनसीईआरटी भी पढ़ लो, थोड़ा, मतलब ज्यादा तो नहीं होगा टाइम, बट थोड़ा अपना कॉपी भी रिवाइज कर लिया करो. रादर देन यहाँ से निकल करके पार्टीज तो नहीं ज्वाइन करना है ना, गवर्नमेंट ज्वाइन करना है ना. आपने तो चूज किया गवर्नमेंट ज्वाइन करना, पार्टी ज्वाइन करना तो किया नहीं है, तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा. पार्टी ज्वाइन करने के लिए इधर उधर आवाज उठानी पड़ेगी. ठीक है, लेकिन अगर गवर्नमेंट ज्वाइन करना है तो मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. राइट, आपको देखना है आपको बनाना क्या है, देश या. ठीक, तो अगर देश बनाना है तो थोड़ी मेहनत करो, और देश बनाओगे खुद तो बन ही जाओगे, है ना. तो यस, अरे यस सर नहीं, आपसे पर्सनली थोड़ी बोल रहा हूँ. बेचारा इमोशनल हो गया. तो रिवीजन करना है, मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ. स्पेंड टाइम ऑन रिवीजन, राइट. I know when we were talking of the stars and the solar system, so at that time I must have said that the earth does move with the sun. Did I say? नहीं, अच्छा. नहीं, सोलर सिस्टम में अर्थ मूव्स, रिवॉल्व करता है, रोटेट करता है, ये सब कुछ भी कभी भी सर आपने नामो निशान नहीं लिया है. परफेक्टली फाइन, नहीं लिया होगा, मान गए. मतलब आप कॉन्फिडेंटली बोलने चाहिए, हाँ सर नहीं किया है. हाफ हार्टेड नहीं, सर पता नहीं, है ना, एकदम हाँ सर मेरा कॉपी देख लो सर, अगर आपने किया होता तो होता इधर, ऐसा बोलना चाहिए. ठीक है, यू शुड बी श्योर ऑफ योर आंसर. आंसर में अगर श्योरिटी नहीं है तो फिर मजा नहीं है, हंसना नहीं है, श्योरिटी लानी है. इंटरव्यू में जाकर के कुछ भी पूछेंगे, सर आई थिंक, आई होप, आई विश, ये सब नहीं चलता है. ईदर यू नो और यू डोंट नो. ठीक है, इफ यू नो गिव द आंसर, इफ यू डोंट नो से सॉरी सर आई डोंट नो. ये मिडवे नहीं बोलना है बीच में. कभी ब्यूरोक्रेट के पास जाकर के देखा है वो ऐसा आधा आधा बात करता है, सर कोई आया दंगा करें, देख लो यार. क्या मूड कर रहा है आपका, है ना. यू हैव टू बी क्लियर इन योर अप्रोच. तो साफ साफ आंसर तो बोल दो, नहीं एकदम आंख मिला के बोलो नहीं किया है सर, सिंपल. बट देन यू हैव टू बी श्योर कि पक्का नहीं किया है, राइट. देन यू हैव टू हैव यू नो चेक्ड इन योर कॉपी. सर मेरा कॉपी में नहीं है 100%, मैंने सारा क्लास अटेंड किया है, नहीं है. आगे समझ में. कल को सिलेक्ट हो गए, मिनिस्टर के पास जाओगे, पूछेगा यार इस फाइल में ये सब लिखा है, देखो यहाँ कहीं होगा. आपको पक्का पता होना चाहिए फाइल में है क्या, ऐसा कहानी चलाने से नहीं चलेगा. तब यू आर अ गुड ब्यूरोक्रेट. एंड दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट दे लुक आल्सो फॉर इन यू नो एट डिफरेंट स्टेजेस. आपका आंसर कितना एफर्मेटिव है, ठीक है, आपके वॉइस में कितना क्लैरिटी है, कितना कमिटमेंट है, वो सब दिखता है। कहते हैं ना, मैंने भी तो इंटरव्यू में वही आंसर दिया जो इसने दिया, फिर मेरा क्यों नहीं हुआ। वो सिर्फ वर्ड्स नहीं सुन रहे हैं, वो ब्लाइंड पीपल नहीं है, वो आपका बॉडी लैंग्वेज भी सुन रहे हैं। पर्सनालिटी टेस्ट है, टेक्निकल इंटरव्यू नहीं है फॉर जॉब, ठीक है, पर्सनालिटी में सब कुछ आता है। सो एनीवेज कम बैक नहीं किया, वेरी गुड। सो नाउ लेट अस स्टार्ट विद trying to understand the movements. So how will you come to know of the movements of the earth? By the way, for knowing the movements of the earth, first of all you have to look at earth from a distance, ठीक है। तो which is the farthest distance from which you can look at the earth? farthest कहाँ जा करके देख सकते हैं earth को? मून। मैंने बोला था ना, हम सब मिडिल क्लास मेंटालिटी लोग हैं, हमें कोई बहुत दूर भी बोले ना तो हम मून से ज्यादा दूर सोच नहीं पाते। हाँ, दूसरा, हाँ, अदर प्लैनेट सच एज मार्स, यूनिवर्स, अलग यूनिवर्स में, अलग यूनिवर्स डिड यू से, मतलब इसी यूनिवर्स के एंड में या दूसरा यूनिवर्स में ही? यार मार्वल मूवीज ज्यादा तो नहीं देखने लगे हो ना? मल्टीवर्स कॉन्सेप्ट, पैरेलल यूनिवर्स है, बिल्कुल ठीक है, यू नो यू हैव दिस फिजिकल, यू हैव दिस कॉन्सेप्ट इन फिजिक्स। आई थिंक जेम्स किसी ने दिया था मल्टीवर्सेस का 1996 या समथिंग, ठीक है। मैक्स टेगमार्क का एक बहुत एक्सीलेंट बुक है इस पे, आवर मैथमेटिकल यूनिवर्स, ही इज MIT मैथ्स प्रोफेसर, टाइम हो तो पढ़ना कभी, एक्सीलेंट बुक ऑन मल्टीवर्सेस। बट अभी उतना दूर नहीं जाना है, अभी इधर ही रहना है। सो इन आवर यूनिवर्स व्हेन यू गो आउटसाइड द गैलेक्सी, right, let us say you are sitting in another galaxy and you're looking at the, which galaxy? Milky Way. So when you see the Milky Way, is the earth part of the Milky Way? Yes. Is the Milky Way constant in the universe? No. Is it moving? Yes, Milky Way is moving, and hence if the Milky Way is moving, the earth is also, so that's the biggest movement that the earth does, the movement with the Milky Way galaxy. It is like a child running in a train and the train itself is running, ठीक है। So have you seen children playing in train? वो गोल गोल घूमते रहते हैं, ऐसा ऐसा होता है ना कई बार, you get up and you run after each other. Is that the biggest movement that the child is doing? No. If he's sitting in a train or an aeroplane and the plane is also moving, then that's the biggest movement, isn't it? You get it? The same ways the earth is also doing a very big movement along with the galaxy, right, with the expansion. So that's what I want you to write. One, major movement. These are major movements of the earth. Okay, so when we talk of the major movements of the earth, the biggest movement that the earth does, the biggest movement is moving along with the Milky Way galaxy, moving along with the Milky Way galaxy, right? And in what direction is the Milky Way galaxy? Acha, is the Milky Way galaxy going round or is it moving slightly linearly? Is it following a cyclic process or cyclic path? Is it doing something circular or something? No, because in universe these movements are expanding universe, so objects tend to move almost linear, almost, not exactly linear, but almost linear. Okay, so universe is moving straight in the expanding, I said universe. The Milky Way galaxy is moving straight in the expanding universe. So if you want, you can write that. The Milky Way galaxy is moving straight, moving straight in the expanding universe. Right? And Then, is there any other movement that the Earth is doing? So one is along with the Milky Way. Second one, एक तो गैलेक्सी में के साथ हो गया, दूसरा along the solar system. ठीक है? So that is the second biggest movement, along with the solar system. And where is the solar system moving? It is moving within the Milky Way. How? The same ways that the moon goes around Earth, the Earth goes around Sun, the Sun also goes around the core of the Milky Way galaxy. ठीक है? तो Sun is also rotating around what? No, sorry, not rotating, revolving around what? The core of the galaxy. ठीक है? The core of the Milky Way galaxy के चारों ओर Sun भी ऐसा ऐसा घूम रहा है. ठीक है? And I'm just trying to show you a video. I have seen such videos. पहला मेरा दूसरा iPad में था. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so let's see if it plays. You can probably see it. Yeah. I don't know, ये sound ज़्यादा आ रहा है इसमें और video is playing less. So let me hold this sound thing. Right, volume control. अच्छा थोड़ा म्यूजिक के साथ देख लो यार, क्या जाता है. कभी कभी आपका लाइफ में म्यूजिक भी होना चाहिए. I don't know whether I can zoom this. I can't, right? But you can see that in the center. That's from the Forbes website. ठीक है? तो sorry? नहीं नहीं, I can't because it's not giving me that option of zooming that. कहाँ दिया है? यार एक सेकंड, बहुत सारा बातें हो मतलब. वेट. हाँ जी, अब बताओ क्या कह रहे हो? वो लिखा है लेकिन वो जब जैसे ही हम क्लिकिंग इट इज राइटिंग फुल स्क्रीन इज अनअवेलेबल. ठीक है, कर लिया है. थोड़ा विश्वास मुझ पे भी रखो यार. जब दिखाई रहा हूं तो छोटा दिखा के मुझे क्या मिलेगा. थोड़ा लाइफ में विश्वास का कमी है. कैन यू सी दैट सन एंड अराउंड द सन यू हैव दोस planets, and the sun is moving, and along with that sun the planets are also moving. So basically the planets are not doing a circular movement, right? They are doing a spiral movement. They are, you know, helically spiraling forward. It's like the spring, right? जैसा spring है तो spring का जैसा ऐसे ऐसा गोल करके वो आगे जा रहे हैं. Do we get it? बस बहुत हो गया वीडियो. नहीं तो फिर बोलोगे सर अब पॉपकॉर्न भी मंगाओ. It is going around the center of the galaxy. That's what I told you. The way Earth is going around Sun, Sun is going around center of the galaxy. So it is the gravity of the center of the galaxy which is making the Sun go around it. ठीक है? And what is the speed at which it goes and what is the time it takes? It takes around 250 million years to do one revolution. And what is the speed? It is around 19 lakh to 22 lakh kilometers per hour. ठीक है ना. सॉरी, ये 19 to 22 जो है वो हमने उसका नहीं लिखा ना, पहला वाले का. 19 to 22 इज द स्पीड ऑफ द गैलेक्सीज मूवमेंट. वो भी लिख लो वहां पे, ऊपर लिखा था ना गैलेक्सी वाला. सो देयर राइट द स्पीड ऑफ द गैलेक्सी मूवमेंट इज अराउंड 19 to 22 lakh kilometers. That is for the galaxy moving in the universe, right? So galaxy in the universe 19 to 22 lakh kilometers per hour, 19 to 22. And then come to the sun. The sun, what is the, किसका? वही लिखवा है ना, galaxy is moving at a speed of 19 lakh kilometers per hour to 22 lakh kilometers per hour. That is the speed at which the galaxy is moving. All right? And then you come to the sun's movement. The sun is moving at a speed of approximately 8 lakh kilometers per hour. ठीक है? approximately 8. ठीक है. Then the third movement is Earth's rotation around the sun. The third movement, not rotation, मैं बार बार rotation बोल रहा हूँ, revolution. Earth's revolution around the sun. That is the third big movement that the Earth does. ठीक है. तो तीसरा बड़ा movement कौन सा है? Earth's revolution around the sun. That is at a speed of around 1,10,000 kilometer per hour. ठीक है. 1,10,000 kilometer per hour. So every 1 hour you are going around the sun by 1,10,000 kilometers. ठीक है. And you are moving in the galaxy by around 8 lakh kilometers. And you are moving in the universe by around, तो जब तक ये क्लास खत्म होगा तो आप यूनिवर्स में कितना मूव कर चुके हो? अप्रोक्सीमेटली 60 लाख किलोमीटर्स ये 3 घंटे में. ठीक है. दैट इज हाउ मच यू आर मूविंग, राइट? एंड दैट्स व्हाट यू आर मूविंग कॉन्स्टेंटली. ठीक है. इन द यूनिवर्स. डू वी गेट इट? सो इतना क्लियर है? नाउ इज देयर एनी अदर मूवमेंट दैट द अर्थ डज? एनी अदर मेजर मूवमेंट? यस, द रोटेशन ऑफ द अर्थ, राइट? So rotation, एक तो revolution था, revolution was around the sun and rotation is on its own axis. The way लट्टू moves, लट्टू देखा है ना? ठीक है. जो spin top होता है, spin top you call it in English and in Hindi we call it as लट्टू. So ऐसा ऐसा घूमता है ना? So like that the earth is also rotating. That is the rotation of the earth. ठीक है. And at what speed is the earth rotating? The rotation speed of different latitudes is different. Obviously. ठीक है. So जो हमारा इक्वेटर है that is rotating at a speed of around 1700 kilometers per hour. So any person standing on the equator is rotating or moving like this with the Earth's rotation at a speed of around 1700. Whereas when you go to higher latitude, what happens? The duration of rotation is same 24 hours. But the latitude का पूरा circle becomes smaller, right? So the distance becomes less, so the speed becomes less. ठीक है. Every latitude is rotating in 24 hours. The biggest latitude will rotate more distance wise, and the smaller latitude will rotate less. And pole will rotate pole 0, क्योंकि pole doesn't go anywhere. ठीक है ना? तो pole तो point है. It's not a circle, so right. So the polar point does not rotate in terms of distance. Angular rotation हो रहा है, angle के जैसा ऐसा गोल गोल घूमता रहेगा. But that point is not going anywhere. Do you get it? Right. So these are the major movements of the Earth. ठीक है. So galaxy movement with the galaxy, movement with the sun, movement around the sun, and movement on its own axis. These are the 4 major movements that the Earth does. All right. But out of these 4 major movements, which ones affect us? Does the movement in the galaxy affect us? No, it does not. Therefore we don't know. आज तक आपको बताया ही नहीं. ठीक है. या बताया होगा तो you didn't care. ठीक है. Why? Because it does not affect us. Moving in the galaxy does not affect us. Second, moving with the sun around the galaxy, that also does not affect us. Right? So we don't talk of it. क्योंकि उसका 1 year is around 225 to 250 million years. हमारा 250 million years का बराबर में सन एक चक्कर मारता है. ठीक है. So since formation of the sun कितना चक्कर मारा होगा? 4.6. Approximately 4 rounds in 1 billion. So approximately 18-19 years. सन का अभी तक सिर्फ 18-19 चक्कर हुआ है. और years around the galaxy, if you consider 1 round as 1 solar year. Do you get it? ठीक है. But that also does not affect, so we don't talk of it. Right? So the first 2 we do not discuss. They are movements, but we don't discuss. All right? Why? Because they do not affect our life or life on the earth. Then the third one is third one is revolution of the earth around the sun. Does it affect us? What do we get from it? The concept of first year. हमारा concept of year उससे बना है. ठीक है. 1 second, does it rotate vertical? The earth revolves around the sun vertical or tilted? Tilted. And tilt with respect to sun, और ये सब हमने थोड़ा बात किया है कुछ. वेरी गुड, अभी करेंगे, ठीक है. सो वील टॉक ऑफ दैट नाउ. बिकॉज द अर्थ रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड द सन, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट यू गेट ओनली वन थिंग, ईयर. उसके सिवाय हमको वो रिवोल्यूशन से कुछ नहीं मिलता. इफ द अर्थ वॉज परपेंडिकुलर एंड इट वॉज रिवॉल्विंग, वी वुड हैव गॉट ओनली 1 year, right? But the earth does not only revolve perpendicular, it does not revolve perpendicular actually, it revolves tilted with respect to sun also. ठीक है, we'll talk of these tilts. Those tilts give us seasons. ठीक है, तो season हमको वहां से मिलता है, and because of the season the concept of year becomes more prominent. If suppose there was no season, just imagine there was no season, every day was exactly the same. ठीक है, then will the concept of year, can we feel the concept of year in that case if we are not keeping a count of the days? You can't. अगर सीजन नहीं होता, राइट, तो आपको पता नहीं चलता कि एक साल हो चुका है. हाउ डू यू कम टू नो फ्रॉम सीजन? द समर्स कम, देन द रेनी सीजन कम्स, देन द विंटर्स कम, एंड देन अगेन द समर्स कम्स. सो व्हेन द समर्स अगेन कम बैक, यू से नियरली 1 year इज ओवर. बट सपोज ये है ही नहीं सीजन, तो आपको तो फिर एवरी डे यू हैव टू कीप अ काउंट. जैसा वो मूवी के अंदर होता है ना, कई बार दिखाते हैं जिसका जेल हुआ, लाइट वाइट नहीं है, तो वो दीवार पे लाइन खींचता रहता है, क्योंकि उसको अदरवाइज पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि ईयर हुआ कब, है ना, राइट? सो आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? सो दिस इज व्हाट द रोटेशन गिव्स. सो वील टॉक ऑफ रोटेशन. सो रोटेशन यू हैव रिटन, वील टॉक ऑफ रोटेशन. आई हैव गिवन यू द स्पीड ऑफ रोटेशन एंड ऑल. देन व्हिच इज द नेक्स्ट थिंग? मैं बार बार ये रोटेशन बोल रहा हूं, आई एम अगेन सॉरी. बाय द वे, let me clarify this in one go. Sir, do we have a globe in any of the rooms? Can we just ask? ठीक है. So let them get it. Revolution is like this, right? Let me be clear in one go. तो अगर मैं बाद में कभी रोटेशन रिवोल्यूशन थोड़ा कंफ्यूज भी करूं, तो आप मतलब समझ जाना कि सर क्या मुंह से ऐसे ही निकल रहा है, बूढ़े हो गए. बोल लेना, इतना चलेगा मन मन में, ठीक है? तो दिस इज रिवोल्यूशन एंड दिस इज rotation. Is that okay? ठीक है. So when you are going around the sun, that is, and when you are just on your axis doing this, ठीक है. तो what I meant was rotation. We understand. Rotation gives you the year. What does the revolution gives you the year? What does rotation give you? Day and night. The concept of day and night is mainly due to. Now just imagine that the earth was revolving around the sun, but it was not rotating. सोचो आराम से. If it was just revolving but not rotating, then what would have happened? क्या होता? Will you get day night? क्या मिलेगा? Half darkness, half light. What is this half? Half of what? Half of the year. So half of the year you will have. So a day will be same as the year. Yes or no? Will the day be same as the year? Why? Half year. एक डे में क्या क्या देखने को मिलता है? हाफ डे, हाफ नाइट. तो हाफ ईयर हुआ. बोलो, सोचो यार, यू हैव टू थिंक. दे कैन आस्क यू दिस क्वेश्चन. इफ द अर्थ वॉज रिवॉल्विंग विदाउट रोटेशन, यू विल एक्सपीरियंस. एक क्वेश्चन है यूपीएससी का. 6 month day, 6 month. So is that a day concept or not? 24 hour का day में क्या मिलता है आपको? 12 hour day, 12 hour night. उसको ही तो day बोलते हो ना. One day is what? 12 hour day, 12 hour night. And what is 1 year? Going around. So if the earth was revolving without rotation, will you get a year? One revolution will be 1, and 1 revolution will also be 1. Why? Half time day, half time night. तो वो तो day भी हो गया ना. So day and night would, so the concept of day would be then a year. आ रहा है समझ में? So पूरा साल जो है वो एक डे भी होता. 6 महीना अंधेरा होता, नाइट के जैसा, 6 महीना उजाला. क्योंकि फिर वो 24 आवर का तो कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं होता ना. ये हमारे दिमाग में इतना इनग्रेन्ड है, 24 आवर के हम बाहर नहीं निकल पा रहे. हम 24 आवर बोलते रहते हैं. व्हाट इज 24 आवर? 24 आवर इज द टाइम टेकन बाय द अर्थ टू डू वन 1 rotation. If the earth is not rotating, तब तो 24 hour का concept नहीं है. And now why am I saying this to you? I'm telling you this because the concept of day on the earth has not always been 24 hours. Earth is gradually slowing in its rotation. ऐसा लट्टू होता है ना, तो आपने घुमाया, स्टार्टिंग में तेज घूम रहा है, the spin top spins faster in the beginning and gradually it goes on slowing. So earlier, if you go a few 100 million years back, the concept of year was only 18 hours. You go another 100 years back, a few 100 years back, it was only 12 hours. So concept of day was only 12 hours. So one day was over in 12 hours. And in those times, the year was not 365 days. It was उसके हिसाब से जोड़ो. So maybe 500, 600 days a year. How do we come to know? सर ये आपको कैसे पता है? मुझे नहीं पता है. Coral reefs बताते हैं. Because when you see the coral reef cycle, every day and every year, they put a layer. Every day they do some work, right? With the sunlight rising and the sunlight going down. Coral reef घंटों से नहीं चलते. Right? They go by sunlight. When the sun is up, they start working. When the sun is down, stop. So that is one day. So every day's work if you count, and that you can count from the fossils. So when you count that how many days did they spend in a year, and when the year is over, they put a different layer, and then next year another layer. So if you count that way, you find that nowadays the coral reefs are doing it in 365 days. But when you pick the fossils of coral reefs few 100 million years back, you find to be more than 365, more than 400, 450 layers. And where do you find those corals? In Gujarat and Rajasthan. Because few 100 million years back, that region was under the sea. तो वहाँ पे आपको fossils मिलते हैं. That's how your fossil studies tell you about, not only about the fossil, they also tell you about the geological cycles. ठीक है? Right? So it's not only in Gujarat. I'm giving you one example. In India, we find it in Gujarat. ठीक है? Do you understand? Right? That is why studying the fossils and all tell you not only about one thing. They tell you about lot many things. ठीक है? प्रणय लाल का एक book है, Indica. I don't know whether, मतलब, I don't want you to read, but I'm just telling you because some of you have interest in reading. तो मैं different books बोलता रहूँगा. पढ़ो आपका मन है. ठीक है? मेरा तो habit है. मुझे बिना पढ़े नींद नहीं आती. Right? So आप भी पढ़ो. So if you read different books on different topics, you come to know about different things. ठीक है? So that is one book where you find this mentioned. That book is about how India evolved. The Indian subcontinent. उसका Indian subcontinent evolution पे वो book है वो. ठीक है? And is it required for UPSC? No. But it's a good general read. ठीक है? If you want to know how the world evolved, उसके ऊपर एक book है, Sapiens. है ना? नोआल हरारी. Right? क्रिश्चियन का भी एक और book है, Origin Story. ठीक है? Big Picture. ये सब बुक्स हैं. हाउ द अर्थ इवॉल्व्ड एंड हाउ ह्यूमैनिटी इवॉल्व्ड एंड हाउ हिस्ट्री इवॉल्व्ड. सो इफ यू हैव इंटरेस्ट इन जनरल रीडिंग, यू कैन रीड. दे विल हेल्प यू इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग जीएस. नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ आई टेल यू वो जो सेपियंस है, इफ यू रीड, यू गेट अ सेंस ऑफ ज्योग्राफी, यू गेट अ सेंस ऑफ इकोलॉजी, यू गेट अ सेंस ऑफ इकोनॉमी, पॉलिटी, सोसाइटी, ये सब कुछ का सेंस लगने लगेगा. इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस, हिस्ट्री, सबका सेंस लगेगा. राइट? सो इट विल इंटीग्रेट द होल थिंग इन योर हेड. एंड इट्स अ स्लो रीड. तो रोज 2-2 पन्ना पढ़ना है अगर टाइम है तो. लेकिन आप लोग के पास तो टाइम नहीं है ना. टाइम का ही तो कमी है सर. बहुत सारा काम है. आधा टाइम तो ट्विटर पे लगाना है. सर आप ट्विटर के पीछे क्यों पड़े हुए हो? आपको पता है. अरे हम कहाँ कह रहे हैं आपका योगदान है. हम तो ये इंश्योर कह रहे हैं कि फ्यूचर में भी योगदान ना हो. ठीक है? Alright, just kidding यार. ऐसा कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बहुत बार ये सब हो चुका है. Doesn't matter. Right? But you have to grow mature to go beyond this. You have to be focused on your purpose. ठीक है? तब थोड़ा आप gradually, then you are moving closer to your goal of becoming an IAS. ठीक है? You have time, but spend it in the right direction. अगर direction और selection wrong हो गया, तो एफर्ट भी गलत डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है, ठीक है। दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग कि ये सब पढ़ो, राइट। सो डू वी अंडरस्टैंड दिस? तो क्या हमें समझ में आया? व्हाट डिड वी अंडरस्टैंड? लेट्स गो बैक टू आवर टॉपिक। व्हाट डिड वी अंडरस्टैंड? ये सब क्यों बता रहे हो सर? Because first you have to understand, because these are smaller finer questions which UPSC is nowadays asking, और gradually ये सब पूछना शुरू कर रहे हैं, right? They are not asking lines directly from the book, they are going slightly deeper into those lines, trying to figure out आपने सिर्फ बुक पढ़ा या थोड़ा सा और रिसर्च भी किया है, ठीक है। क्या आप 10th के लेवल पे हो या IAS के लेवल पे हो? पढ़ना 10th का बुक्स है, लेकिन उसी लेवल पे नहीं पढ़ना है, ठीक है। All the questions that UPSC is asking nowadays is around 130 to 150% of NCERT, and state exams are asking around 110% of NCERT. But UPSC 110 पे नहीं पूछ रहा है, UPSC 130 150 पे पूछ रहा है। इसका मतलब क्या है? You read that 100%, be 100% sure, then add on that 100%, right? Get slightly deeper into that 100% and know slightly deeper. But for knowing that slightly deeper, first you have to do that 100%. ठीक है, तो पहला तो वो लाइन पढ़ो, उसके बाद उसके आगे पढ़ो। अच्छा, अभी तो इतना है, बट पहले कैसा होता था? That questioning thing you have to do to yourself. ठीक है, इसमें क्वेश्चन क्या पूछ सकते हैं? ठीक है, do you get it? Right? So what did we understand here? That the rotation of the earth gives you the day. But if the earth was not rotating and only revolving, we would have got 1 year same as 1 day, because 1 day would be over in 1 year, and that's exactly what happens to moon. Moon does not rotate, it just revolves. But how much time does it take to do one revolution? Not 1 year, it takes 27 days. ठीक है, moon सिर्फ 27 days में एक revolution पूरा करता है, और because it does not rotate, उसका day भी 20, ठीक है, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? उसका डे भी हमेशा 27 डेज में उसका एक साइकिल पूरा हो जाता है, ठीक है। एंड इन दिस केस व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ द मून एज द अर्थ, देन व्हाट इज द इक्विवेलेंट ऑफ द सन? व्हेन यू से दैट द मून इज द इक्विवेलेंट, जैसा हमने बोला ना कि अर्थ और सन जैसा घूम रहा होता है, वैसा ही मून अर्थ के अराउंड घूम रहा होता है। सो इफ द मून इज लाइक द अर्थ, देन व्हाट इज लाइक द सन? द अर्थ। सो द साइड फेसिंग द मून or the face of the moon that you can see is like the day, क्योंकि सन से तो हमेशा हमको अर्थ का डे ही दिखेगा ना, नाइट तो दिखेगा नहीं। Do you understand? Because of this, you never get to see the other side of the moon. On the earth, you never see the other side of the moon. From the earth, you only see half of the moon, even when it is fully glowing. ठीक है? How do you know this? Go and make the shape of the dark spot on the moon that you see. ठीक है, वो अपना कॉपी में बना के रखो या फोटो खींच के, और उसको 5 साल बाद देखो, और 10 साल बाद देखो, और 20 साल बाद देखो, हमेशा वही दिखेगा। यू आर नॉट सीइंग एनी अदर स्पॉट। You get it? On this moon you will always see only the same spot, which means you are only seeing one side of the moon. ठीक है, this is called as tidal interlocking of the moon with the earth. The moon has tidally interlocked itself. So with respect to earth, the moon is not rotating. ठीक है? Now how has this happened? Please understand. ये भी अभी समझ लो. I'll dictate all this and then we'll go beyond this. Initially the earth was rotating very fast and the moon was, after the collision, when the moon was formed, the moon was not rotating. ठीक है, the moon was not doing that motion and the earth only was rotating. So basically what has happened is, because of this tidal interfiction of the tidal friction of the sun and the of the moon and the earth, the moon has slowed down the earth. So what is slowing down the earth's rotation? The moon. ठीक है, to the extent that now only one face of the moon is always toward the gear interlock हो गया है. तो जब gear interlock होता है तो क्या होता है? The same teeth of the gear is always toward that other gear, है ना? ऐसा होता है ना. अगर मान लो ये teeth of the gear है, ऐसा लॉक हो गया, तो इसको हम घुमाते भी रहेंगे तो ये इसी के साथ साथ घूमता रहेगा, राइट? सो अभी मून और अर्थ का वैसा पोजिशन हो गया. वी कॉल दिस एज tidal interlocking, and the moon is further slowing down the earth gradually. तो एक तो उसके साथ लॉक हो गया और फिर वो उसको फ्रिक्शनल ड्रैग की वजह से gradually it is slowing it over. So after a few million years, what will be the length of the day? 24 hour, less than 24 hour, more than 24 hour, cannot be determined. चार ऑप्शन. More than 24 hours. ठीक है. So the ones who feel कि हमें दिन में कम घंटे मिल रहे हैं, just wait for few hundred million years. ठीक है, फिर कुछ घंटे और मिल जाएंगे. All right, so understood. ठीक है. So should we write this? ये लिख लें थोड़ा. Good. Yes, there. Very good. I'll not rotate this. ठीक है. Right? Now, India, and suppose my computer is the sun. Just imagine. And this is India. Can you see India यहाँ दिख रहा है? So I'm making India face like this. So right now it will be day on India, or night on India, or evening or morning. क्या होगा? अभी day होगा ना? Now, 3 months later, अभी क्या होगा? Something like evening. अभी क्या होगा? अभी क्या होगा? मॉर्निंग. अभी क्या होगा? है ना? तो अर्थ ने क्या किया? 1 साल का रोटेशन किया. ठीक है. और आप एक डे, हम किसको बोलते हैं? When you go through the whole phase of morning to afternoon to evening to night to morning. जब अगला मॉर्निंग आता है तभी तो हम डे बोलते हैं. आ रहा है समझ में? राइट. तो अब डे का कितना टाइम लगा डे को होने में? साल भर. तो एक डे कितने ड्यूरेशन का हो गया? 1 year. योर क्वेश्चन. रोटेट नहीं, रिवॉल्व किया. रोटेट तो हो नहीं रहा. हाँ जी, हाँ जी. इधर गया ना, तो ये यहां पे गया. तो इंडिया में एक्सपीरियंस क्या करोगे अगर आप इंडिया में हो? डे या नाइट? नाइट. तो डे से नाइट होने में कितना टाइम लगा? 6 month लग गया ना. है ना? आपके देखो, आप दिमाग में डे नाइट 24 आवर से चला रहे हो, बट डे नाइट 24 आवर नहीं होता है. चिड़िया से पूछो डे नाइट कैसे होता है. डज द बर्ड टेल यू कि डे नाइट कैसे होता है? बताती है. रोज सुबह वो ये आवाज मारती है, शाम को आवाज मारना बंद कर देती है, अगला मॉर्निंग एग्जैक्टली उसी टाइम पे फिर से आवाज मारती है. उसका घड़ी कहां है? बायोलॉजिकल क्लॉक. सनराइज, सनसेट. ठीक है. ये आपके साथ भी होता है. आई डोंट नो वेदर यू पीपल रियलाइज दिस. इवन इफ यू डोंट हैव अ क्लॉक विद यू, and if you are in the habit of getting up on time, right, irrespective of your clock or your alarm, आपका नींद exactly उतने बजे ही उठ खुलेगा. You don't have to look into your watch. You get up, you know ये time हो गया. What is telling you? The clock in your body. To what is it synchronized? The sun. ठीक है. Every living being has a biological clock. And that biological clock is synchronized with the sun's rise and sunset. इसीलिए आपके पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं सुबह उठा करो, रात को सोया करो. आप क्या करते हो? ठीक है. आप डायर्नल एनिमल पैदा हुए थे, नॉक्टर्नल बिहेव करना शुरू कर दिया है. बट बॉडी तो इवॉल्व हुई नहीं अंदर से. या तो आपका बॉडी भी वैसा इवॉल्व हो जाए. तो इवोल्यूशन इतना जल्दी होता नहीं है. ठीक है. बट यंग हो तो इसीलिए बॉडी इज एबल टू विथस्टैंड दैट. जब एज होना शुरू होगा, देन यू विल सी द रिपरकशन. ठीक है. जैसा चिकन होता है ना, उसको जब बड़ा करना होता है फार्म्स में, वो क्या करते हैं? 24 आवर लाइट में रखते हैं. दे डोंट अलाउ द चिकन टू स्लीप. ठीक है. वो 24 घंटा उठ के खाता रहता है और वो जल्दी बड़ा हो जाता है. उनको जल्दी बड़ा भी करना है बिकॉज दे कांट अफोर्ड टू कीप द चिकन इन द फार्म फॉर लॉन्ग. सो दे कीप फीडिंग. व्हेन द चिकन ग्रोज अप, इट्स हैंगिंग, स्किनलेस. तो स्किनलेस जल्दी से हैंग कर सके उसके लिए उसको खिलाते हैं जल्दी जल्दी. तो उसका बॉडी क्लॉक हम गड़बड़ कर देते हैं. आ रहा है समझ में? सो डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस? अभी डे नाइट का कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आ गया? ठीक है, हमारा बहुत सारा लाइफ में कॉन्सेप्ट ही उल्टा है, यही इस प्रोसेस में सीखना है. आस्किंग दोस फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चंस टू योरसेल्फ कि इज माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग राइट? If you ask those fundamental questions to yourself, you get the answers, and that makes you a better human being. The better human being you become, the better administrator you will be, because you are understanding human beings better. Ranji, बताइए. Will there be a concept of ours? A concept of R is a concept that we have created in terms of time, right? And that concept of time we have again created ourselves. So concept of time, मतलब I don't want to go into this again. ठीक है. हाँ सर भी कह रहे हैं सर मत जाओ. है ना, टाइम का कॉन्सेप्ट में मत जाओ, ये बेचारे बालक गण हैं. ठीक है. सो द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ टाइम इज ऑल्सो क्रिएटेड बाई अस. Simply said, if I tell you, the way we understand minutes and seconds and hours is created by us for our convenience, so that we can divide the days like that. ठीक है. कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ टाइम भी ऐसा नहीं है एग्जैक्टली. ठीक है. टाइम के ऊपर एक बुक है कार्लो रोवेली का, ही इज अ फिजिशियन, अ वेरी एक्सीलेंटली रिटन बुक, बट वो बाद में पढ़ना, अभी नहीं. बट फॉर नाउ द वे you ask me, sir, is the concept of 1 hour 60 minutes 60 seconds, is that natural or is it man-made? It is man-made. ठीक है. Right, and we have found some synchronizations of that 1 second in atomic this thing, so as to say कि atomic clock है. So just to keep the precision of the time, बस इतना है. ठीक है. Okay, so coming back, so हमें इतना तो समझ में आया, right? So should we write now? आप लोग का डाउट आउट था वो हो गया क्लियर, अभी लिख लें. ठीक है. Do write that the, and we'll write the outcomes also, right? So first the rotation. So I think हमने ऊपर लिख लिया है that movement with the galaxy and movement around the galaxy do not affect us, hence we do not keep that in mind. लिख चुके हो ये? Then come to revolution of the earth. ठीक है. Did we write anything about revolution? No. So write revolution of the earth. Revolution of the earth gives us the concept of a year, gives us the concept of a year, that is the time taken by the earth to do one complete revolution. That is the time taken by the earth to do one complete revolution. Full stop. And because of revolution on a tilted axis, and because of the revolution on a tilted axis, revolution on a tilted axis, because of revolution on a tilted axis, we have the concept of seasons. We have the concept of seasons. ठीक है. Then next, rotation of the earth. Write down, if the earth was not next is rotation of the earth. और थोड़ा सा लिखने का स्पीड बढ़ाइए आप सब लोग. आप लोग इधर उधर ज्यादा देखते हो, दैट मीन्स लिख नहीं पा रहे हो. थोड़ा स्पीड सब बढ़ाओ यार. राइट. सो इफ द अर्थ वाज नॉट रोटेटिंग, if the earth was not rotating and just revolving, not rotating and just revolving, then we would get 6-month day and 6-month night. You would get 6-month day and 6-month night, and hence Earth's year would be same as Earth's day. Earth's year would have same duration. Earth's year would have same duration as a day on Earth. Earth's year would have same duration as a day on Earth. Day भी उतने का हो जाता. Full stop. Right? Because why so? Because one full rotation with respect to the sun, because one full rotation with respect to the sun would be in a year. One full rotation with respect to the sun would be in 1 year. What does this mean? ये जो last line लिखा है, इधर देखो. Now suppose I am not rotating the earth, but still I am just revolving the earth like this. Can you see that despite of the fact that I am not rotating, but the earth is rotating with respect to the sun? ऐसा यहाँ पे है. So India is in front. When without rotating the earth, I put the sun, earth here, earth has already 1/4 rotated with respect to the sun, because India is no more here. ठीक है? Then this side, earth has already half rotated with respect to the, it has not rotated absolutely. In terms of absolute, it is not rotated, but with respect to the sun, it has rotated. And here 3/4 and here 1. Okay, so just by revolving around the sun, even if we don't rotate the earth will have a relative rotation. ये relative rotation है. ठीक है? And that relative rotation will give you that 1 day. ठीक है? All right. Now write down next. So basically, the rotation, the relative rotation, you write this way. Hence, basically, the relative rotation of the earth, hence the relative rotation of the earth gives us the concept of day and night. ठीक है? अच्छा, I was just reading that thing, so somebody wrote, sir, इंडिका तो मेगास्थेनीज ने लिखा था. उन्होंने भी लिखा था पहले, और बाद में जो बुक मैंने बोला वो मेगास्थेनीज का नहीं पढ़ना है, लैटिन आपको आता नहीं है और वो हेल्प भी नहीं करेगा. सो दिस इज अ डिफरेंट बुक दैट आई एम सेइंग. ठीक है? एक ही नाम से बहुत सारे लोग बुक लिख सकते हैं यार. ऑलराइट, ओके, कम बैक. So we understand this concept of rotation and revolution. Now come to, so these are major movements of the earth. All these above are major movements of the earth. Now write minor movement. Minor movement. So if I ask you to conclude simply, hence the major movements of the earth give us what? दो words में बोलो. The year and day and night and seasons. ये हमको major movement से मिला. ठीक है? If you want, you can write. So simply said, the major movements of the earth give us the concept of year, seasons and day and night. Because जो भी पढ़ना है उसका application भी समझना है. इसका फायदा क्या है? ठीक है? Then come to the next thing. Minor movements of the earth. Minor movements. Major movement अभी completely complete नहीं हुआ है. We'll come back to that. Right? You can write. We'll come back to major movements later. Right? Because you have to understand a few more complexer things in this. अभी हमने बिल्कुल simple चीज समझा है. ठीक है? So minor movements. What are minor movements? Minor movements are, so you can write, the earth also does minor movements along with the major movements that it does. Along with the major movement that it does. Within brackets, similar to the smaller movements that a spin top does. Similar to the smaller movements that a spin top, lattu, does. Similar to the smaller movement that the spin top does. In addition to rotation. ठीक है? Spin top does in addition to rotation. So if I ask you which are the minor movements, have you seen a spin top rotating? सबने देखा है? हाँ? क्योंकि अगर मैं पूछ रहा हूं तो obviously अगला क्वेश्चन भी कुछ पूछने वाला हूं, तो सोच लो. पक्का? Okay. So if suppose this is the spin top and it is rotating इज दिस द ओनली मूवमेंट दैट द स्पिन टॉप डज? अगर आप एक लट्टू को ऐसा जमीन पे घुमाइए तो क्या वो इतना ही घूमता है या और भी कुछ मूवमेंट्स करता है? करता है। जैसे कि एक उसका बेस घूमता है तो वो तो रिवोल्यूशन हो गया। और थोड़ा सा और सोच। अच्छा एक बात बताओ, जब वो ऐसा जमीन पे ऐसा घूम रहा है, डज इट फॉलो द सेम पाथ? आई एम आस्किंग द पाथ, आई एम नॉट आस्किंग द डज इट फॉलो एग्जैक्टली द सेम पाथ? नो, एवरी टाइम इट फॉलो स्लाइटली डिफरेंट पाथ। ठीक है, राइट? So every time when the lattu goes around, spins, right? It does not follow exactly the same path on the ground, right? It follows a different path. Same ways the earth also follows different path every time. This is something that you don't know, but the reasons are different, right? The phenomena is similar, but the reason is not. ठीक है? In this case, the reason was that it is not able to trace the same path back because of the friction and what all. In the case of Earth, it's not friction, it is the gravity of other planets. Because in the solar system, the sun and the moon are not the only two things having gravity. Jupiter भी है, Saturn भी है ना, Mars भी है, उनका भी gravity है. All these planets also have gravity. And they don't have small gravity. Jupiter has almost more than half of the non-solar mass of the solar system. तो सोलर सिस्टम में सन के सिवाय, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द सन इन द सोलर सिस्टम, वॉट एवर मास इज देयर, मोर देन हाफ ऑफ इट इज इन जुपिटर. इट हैज अ सब्सटैंशियल मास and it also has a substantial gravity. And because the Earth does a rotation in 1 year, but Jupiter does not, and Saturn do not, so the relative position of Saturn and Jupiter with respect to Earth changes. So kabhi, suppose this is Jupiter when the Earth was here, and next time when the Earth comes here, the Jupiter might be somewhere there. So earlier Jupiter was pulling the Earth in this direction. Next year when the Earth again comes back to the same position, Jupiter might be pulling it somewhere else. And third year Jupiter might be pulling it somewhere else. Okay? So Earth will go on changing its position. Right? Do you understand? So that path that it was following will change. Okay? So it is something like this. Right? If this is the path taken by the Earth in one go, then in the second go, Earth will not take the same path, exactly same path. In the second go, the Earth might take a slightly different path. And third time, it will take further slightly different path. Do we see? This is called as the eccentricity of Earth's revolution. Eccentricity of Earth's revolution. And how much time does the Earth take to come back exactly to the same path again? Because after some time, everything will synchronize back to the same point because it is cyclic. Jupiter का motion भी cyclic है, उसका motion भी cyclic है ना? All of them have periods. So after some time, all of them will synchronize again. ठीक है? So when will they synchronize? After nearly 1 lakh years. So after 1 lakh years of revolution, Earth will exactly come back to its own path. And then again for 1 lakh years, the path will keep shifting, and after 1 lakh, again back. This is called as eccentricity of the Earth. क्या चीज? Eccentricity period might change. ठीक है? लेकिन वो क्यों cyclic होगा? Because these motions are not random. Everything in the solar system has a fixed period. So जैसा आपने वो question किया होगा बचपन में, you are running on a path at a speed of 10 kilometer and your friend is running at 20 kilometer. You start from the same point. After how many circles will you meet again? किया ऐसा कुछ? है ना? तो just imagine the same thing but with numerous runners. Do you understand? तो अभी समझ में आया क्यों फिर से सेम होगा? ये सेम क्वेश्चन तो आप 100 रनर्स के साथ भी कर सकते हो ना. इट्स ओनली दैट इट विल बिकम अ मोर कॉम्प्लेक्सर क्वेश्चन. ठीक है? डू यू गेट इट? राइट? क्लियर? हाँ जी बोलो. हाँ 1 लाख, दिस वेरीज, राइट? समटाइम्स इट इज 1 lakh, समटाइम्स इट इज more also, so it might vary, but we say approximately. For our purpose we'll put it at 1 lakh. If you see different sources, they slightly vary based on their calculations. Yes. सेम वापस एग्जैक्टली उस पे ही आ जाएगी, फिर वापस, फिर 1 लाख 1.25 लाख के बाद फिर वापस, फिर वो सब उसी पाथ पे आ जाएंगे. ठीक है, डू यू गेट इट? इज दिस क्लियर? Everyone understands this? So what do we call this as? Eccentricity. Eccentricity. And basically what is changing in this? What is changing? Not only path. If the path is changing, Earth's position with respect to Sun is also changing. ठीक है, how you will understand slightly. अभी थोड़ा रुक जाओ, अभी समझ में आ जाएगा कैसा चेंज हो रहा है, बट वो चेंज हो रहा है. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, there is one more thing that I should tell you here. Is the Earth doing this round in a circular orbit? कैसा ऑर्बिट पे कर रहा है? हाँ, elliptical. Very good. What is ellipse? मेजर माइनस एक्सिस चेंज होता है और हाँ, इसेंट्रिसिटी कांस्टेंट नहीं, अभी वो मत बोलो, सिर्फ एलिप्स बताओ. एलिप्स आप एक नॉर्मल आदमी को कैसे समझाओगे? डोंट गिव मी द जियोमेट्री ऑफ इट, डोंट गिव मी द इक्वेशंस आल्सो. हाउ विल यू मेक समवन चाइल्डिश to understand what is an ellipse? If you understand that way, then you understand, otherwise आपको पता ही नहीं है. Then you only remember the equations. हाँ, एक egg like shape. ठीक है, और तो egg like तो बहुत कुछ होता है, इसी को क्यों बोलते हैं? Actually there are two centers to it. ठीक है, in an elliptical shape you have two centers, such that if you place something here and shoot it in any direction. कैरम बोर्ड खेला है ना, यहां पे कुछ भी रखो और इसको यहां से किसी भी डायरेक्शन में हिट करो. इफ दिस इज द बाउंड्री ऑफ द कैरम बोर्ड, आफ्टर हिटिंग इट विल पास थ्रू दिस, नो मैटर वेयर यू हिट इट. ठीक है, दिस इज वॉट अ elliptical shape. So if your ellipse is perfect, the shape is perfect, then it will have two centers, right? And such that you hit in any direction, the other one after reflecting from there will pass through the other corner. ठीक है, now this is not necessary. What is necessary here is that sun is placed here on one of the centers. ठीक है, the sun is placed at one of the centers and earth is going around. So there comes a point of the year when the earth is closest to the sun and there comes a point when the earth is farthest to the sun. Do we understand this? ठीक है, and what are the close and far points called? Yeah, when you are closest, perihelion, you get it somewhere in January, and when you are farthest, aphelion, that comes somewhere in July, June, July, not June, July. ठीक है, somewhere around July. Do we get it? आ रहे समझ में? ठीक है, now just imagine, अब imagine करना है, if I go on changing this path gradually, what will happen? With the passing of the year, the earth's position with respect to the sun will also go on slightly changing every time. You get it? So earth is never exactly at the same position after 1 year round. Why? Because the path itself has changed. ठीक है, and when will earth come exactly back to the same point? After 1 lakh years. ठीक है, do you understand this? Okay, now तो अभी आपने ग्रेजुअली सबसे पहले समझा कि पाथ कैसा है, सेकंड आपने समझा इट इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली द सेम पॉइंट. इफ द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द अर्थ एंड सन कीप्स चेंजिंग एवरी ईयर स्लाइटली, व्हाट एल्स विल चेंज ऑन अर्थ? सीजन्स एंड क्लाइमेट एंड टेम्परेचर. सो एवरी ईयर द टेम्परेचर विल चेंज स्लाइटली, एंड फॉर हाउ लॉन्ग? 1 lakh years. And after how long will it be exactly same? So it will first tend to increase or decrease and then tend to decrease or increase over a cycle of. So what will you call this change as? Will you call this as season? अगर 1 लाख साल में अर्थ ग्रेजुअली थोड़ा ठंडा हुआ एंड देन ग्रेजुअली थोड़ा गर्म हुआ, what do you call this as? Climate change. So what does this cycle do to the earth? Climate change. It does not create day, it does not create year, it does not create seasons. It creates natural climate change on the earth. ऐसा समझ में? So earth का climate, does it change or does it always remain same? It changes because of these kind of minor movement. You have done just one minor movement till now, right? So do you remember any climate change before present which you know, या जिसके ऊपर आपने पिक्चर देखी हो, बुक्स तो आप पढ़ते नहीं हो? Ice age. ठीक है, 10-12 हजार साल पहले we had an ice age. Why did we had it? Because of such cycles. Not this cycle, but such cycles. Right? Because you have done just one of the minor movements. There are more. Once you understand that, you will understand that how the Earth's climate change takes place. Do we get it? Is this okay? आ रहा है समझ में? Right. Yeah, बताइए. Earth is closer to the sun. Yes. नहीं, जनवरी तो जनवरी होगा. आप कुछ और पूछना चाहते हो? Your question is not right. Question right पूछो. Why is it winter? Where? Where? Where is it winter? Huh? Yeah, on the earth? On the whole earth? In India only? Earth नहीं sir, India नहीं तो कहाँ सर आप ही बता दो. In the, and what is it in the southern hemisphere? You are giving the answer yourself. नहीं? एक जगह समर है, दूसरी जगह विंटर है. तो आप बोलो फिर उधर कूद जाओगे जुलाई में, फिर बोलोगे सर जुलाई में क्या हो रहा है. मेरा आंसर रिमेन्स द सेम. एक जगह समर है, दूसरी जगह विंटर है. तो समर विंटर तो इससे फर्क पड़ ही नहीं रहा है. ठीक है. दिस इज व्हाट आई विल टेल यू इन द एंड. राइट? समर विंटर इज नॉट अफेक्टेड बाय एपिहिलियन एंड पेरिहिलियन. ठीक है. तो इसीलिए नहीं घबराना है. ओके. यस. और क्वेश्चन राइट फ्रेम करना सीखिए आप लोग. जो भी पूछना है बिल्कुल टू द पॉइंट, तभी आपके आंसर्स क्वेश्चंस टू द पॉइंट होंगे. नहीं तो बोलते रह जाओगे सर मैं यही बोलना चाहता था. वो क्या बोलेंगे? कोई बात नहीं, अगले साल बोल लेना. ठीक है. एक साल और सीखो. तो जितना जल्दी सीख जाओगे उतना जल्दी. हाँ जी, डाउट? Ephelion and perihelion do not affect the intensity because in ephelion position or perihelion position, perihelion Earth is at 147 million kilometers from the sun. At ephelion it is 152 million kilometers from the sun. So when you are already 147, 152, 2-3 लाख मिलियन किलोमीटर से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आपका जेब में 147 रुपीज है, 152 रुपीज है, फर्क ज्यादा नहीं पड़ता है ना. अगर वो 150 का 100 रुपए होता तब फर्क पड़ता. 5 रुपए ज्यादा कम से फर्क पड़ता है ना. जब पॉपकॉर्न खरीद लोगे पिक्चर में तो च्युइंगम खरीदोगे नहीं खरीदोगे, बस उतना ही अंतर है. ऑलराइट. राइट. मैथ्स इज ऑल रिलेटिव. राइट. आप वो मिलियन देख रहे हो, परसेंटेज नहीं देख रहे हो. परसेंटेज नहीं देख रहे हो ना. आपके लिए 5 मिलियन बहुत है, अर्थ और सन के लिए नहीं. ठीक है. ऑलराइट. आगे बढ़े. हाँ जी, बोलो बोलो. As the earth is changing its orbit slightly with respect to the sun. With respect to? Yes. This is relative to only sun. Considering that the sun is, that we have already factored. ठीक है. आप sun का मूवमेंट तो ले ही नहीं रहे हो ना यहाँ पे. राइट. बिकॉज यू आर मूविंग विद द सन. आप सन के साथ ही चल रहे हो ना. आप अगर एक रनिंग ट्रेन के अंदर आप भी दौड़ना शुरू करो तो विल यू फील कि आप रन कर रहे हो? उस स्पीड पे आप नहीं फील करोगे ना. विल यू फील, लेट अस से द ट्रेन इज गोइंग एट 110 किलोमीटर एंड यू आर रनिंग एट 5 किलोमीटर पर आवर. विल यू फील दैट यू आर रनिंग एट 105 किलोमीटर? यू विल फील दैट आई एम रनिंग ओनली एट. हाँ. व्हाट? यहां दो चीजें मिक्स हो रही हैं. सेग्रीगेट. वन, द सन्स मूवमेंट. तो सन मूवमेंट नहीं कर रहा सपोज, उसके बाद भी Earth is doing a relative shifting, right? And when you superimpose Earth's minor movement over the galactic movement, then the outcome will be much more long term. But that does not affect us, तो इसका हम बात नहीं कर रहे. उसका भी इफेक्ट होगा, ठीक है. पैलियो क्लाइमेटोलॉजिस्ट वही पढ़ते हैं, लेकिन वो हमारा सिलेबस में नहीं है, ठीक है. पैलियो क्लाइमेटोलॉजी से कुछ याद आया? अल्फ्रेड वेगनर थे. आपका टर्म्स में मैं एग्जांपल देता हूं ताकि आपको थोड़ा कुछ कनेक्ट होता रहे इधर उधर. ऑलराइट, यस. सो इज दिस क्लियर? क्या समझा हमने? व्हाट डिड वी अंडरस्टैंड? क्लाइमेट चेंज बिकॉज ऑफ precession, one minor movement. Second minor movement should we see? So let us go back to the same lattu, right? Why do I take you back to the lattu? Because one, you have done it. Second, the laws of physics don't change by scale until unless you go to quantum physics. ठीक है, तो classical physics में scale से कुछ ज़्यादा change नहीं होता. All right. So when you spin that lattu thing, now again focus on that lattu. If you spin that lattu thing, ऐसा, right? So one is it is doing this rotation, but you can also see that it is doing something like this also. I'm not talking of the this part, or I'm not saying, you know, I'm saying, देखा है कभी लट्टू ऐसा भी घूमता है ना? Yes, right? So that movement is, हाँ जी, globe. नहीं, ये ऊपर से स्क्रूड है. आई थिंक यहाँ से मे बी इसका एक माइनर स्क्रू कहीं वो घूम गया होगा. दैट्स ओके, कोई बात नहीं. सो कम बैक टू दिस एंड सी दिस. सो द सेकेंड मूवमेंट इज समथिंग लाइक दिस. दिख रहा है बैकड्रॉप में? राइट, दिस इज द सेकेंड मूवमेंट ऑफ द अर्थ, माइनर मूवमेंट. राइट, हाउ? Where the top tends to, अच्छा ये तो अभी खुद ही करने के मूड में है, ठीक है. तो ऐसा ऐसा गोल गोल घुमा दीजिए, something like the top thing. All right, right? So ऐसा, I don't know, something like this. All right. So understood. So what do we call this? Precession. How much time does the precession take? Not shown in this diagram. एक और डायग्राम होगा इसका नीचे ही. See here, precession takes something like 19 to 19,000, not 19 years, 19,000 to 26,000 years. ठीक है. So in 19,000 to 26,000 years, the Earth's top does one circle ऐसा. And what is the effect of this circle? There are two effects. One, what you see in your day-to-day life. I hope everyone understands what is a pole star. नाम सुना होगा, है ना? What is a pole star? You see it on which pole? South pole पे नहीं दिखता है? पक्का दिखता है या नहीं दिखता है? How many of you think South pole पे भी दिखता है pole star? अच्छा, do we have a pole star towards South pole? No. There is no pole star towards South pole. We have a pole star only towards North pole. ठीक है. What is the pole star and which is the pole star? The pole star is the star that is always pointed toward the north, wherever on the earth you are. And which is the pole star? Polaris. Our present pole star is, here I have said a additional statement, present. ठीक है. Which means past and future कुछ और भी हो सकता है, right? So that's what you have to understand. That when the earth is doing this and when the earth is doing this kind of a rotation, ऐसा, right? When it is like this, this is the pole star. When it is like this, that is the pole star. And what is the period of the cycle of pole star? From this to this, let us say 26,000 years. तो उसका half कर दिया, 13,000. So for 13,000 years, Polaris will be our pole star. Next 13,000 and past 13,000, Vega. And another 26,000, Polaris. Do you understand? So this is how our pole star also changes. Our pole star changes periodically between Polaris and Vega. All right, and the second thing that it affects is Earth's tilt with respect to the sun. Earth's tilt with respect to sun will also change, because if sun is here and the Earth is doing, let us say this, and it is doing this kind of a motion, can you see its tilt with respect to the sun is changing, even if it is at the same position? Okay, so one time it will be towards, the other time it will be away. Okay, is this understood? So precession also, and because of this, what will change again? Earth's distance with respect to sun, and hence climate. So this also creates climate change on the Earth. Precession is a 26,000 year period cycle which is like this and creates climate change. और उस climate change का cycle क्या होगा? 26,000 का half कर लो, right? One way and then going back. Right? पिछला वाला का क्या था? Nearly 1 lakh years. ठीक है? So this is the second one. And the third, so this was eccentricity, right? And this is precession. And then you have something like this also. Okay, we call it as obliquity. Okay, this is the third minor movement of the Earth. What is obliquity? First, let me ask you, what is the tilt of the Earth? जो आपने रटा है बोलो, 23.5 degrees with respect to the sun, है ना? Or is it with respect to the sun or it is with respect to the orbit? Huh? You have a question? Acha. So my question is, the Earth's tilt 23.5 is with respect to sun or it is with respect to the orbit on which it is revolving? 23.5, not with respect to the orbit also. With respect to orbit it is 66.5. Very good. It is with respect to the perpendicular to the orbital plane on which the Earth is revolving. Okay, so if this is the orbital plane, right, and this is the Earth, and the Earth is tilted like this, okay, so with respect to the perpendicular to the orbital plane, it is 23.5. With respect to the orbital plane, it is 90 minus 23.5, 66.5. तो ये एंगल कितना है? 66.5. ये एंगल कितना है? 23.5. So this is the tilt. But it is with respect to what? It is with respect to sun या with respect to orbital plane? Orbital plane. Why not with respect to the sun? Why not with respect to the sun? Now please understand this also. Okay? Because this is the most important part and one of the most complicated things for some of us to understand in terms of what we are doing right now. If I'm holding the Earth like this, and suppose you people are the sun, आप है sun. Can you imagine? आप sun है, ठीक है? So I can say if I'm tilting it like this, then I can say that it is tilted. The northern hemisphere is tilted towards you and the southern hemisphere is tilted, and hence the Earth is tilted with respect to you or sun. ठीक है? इतना clear है सबको? Why? Because here you can clearly say, sir, if I ask you which, if it is tilted, then tell me which part is tilted towards you, which part is tilted away. Yes or no? And you can say, and in this position, is it tilted? Give me answer, yes or no. Is it tilted? Yes. Which side towards you? Which side away from you? Is it tilted? अब ध्यान से देखो. Is it tilted with respect to you? Is it tilted with respect to you? Yes or no? यहां पे दोनों आंसर है और आवाज भी डिम हो गई है. Is it tilted? We don't know, sir, because दिख तो रहा है. बोलो साफ, है ना? Sir, we don't know. Then ask the second question. If it is tilted, which part is tilted towards you? My question was, is it tilted with respect to you? Is it tilted with respect to you? No. Why? Because in this position you can't say that, sir, north is tilted towards me or south is tilted away from me. आ रहा है ना समझ में? ठीक है? Because both are equally tilted. Right? So is it tilted with respect to you? Loud. No, is it tilted absolute terms? Yes. In absolute terms, it is tilted, but it is not tilted with respect to you. That's what you will become, bureaucrats. In absolute terms, you will always be tilted towards the constitution. But in relative terms, you will never be tilted towards anyone. ठीक है, वो कैसे करना है अर्थ सिखाता है. ठीक है. So I hope you get it, right? So now coming back. So when we say that the earth is tilted, what is the tilt with respect to the plane? 23.5. And we have learned that it is constant, but it is not. Right? That 22.5 with respect to the orbital plane also changes. How much? Maximum 24.5, minimum 22.1. And where are we right now? In between. Abhi hum in between hai. And how much time does it take? 41,000 years to go one side and again come back. Okay? Do we understand this? Right? So this is what we call as obliquity of the earth. Will this affect Earth's relative tilt with respect to the sun also? Will it? Or no? For example, if the earth was tilted toward the sun and the angle is 24.5, then the earth will be more tilted toward the sun. And when the earth itself is tilted 22.1 only, then even if it is tilted toward the sun, it will be less tilted. So because of this more tilt and less tilt, what will happen? Relative sunlight will vary. Because of that, what will happen? Cold and warm. Because of that, again climate change. तो इन तीनों का आउटकम क्या है? That's it. ठीक है? Do we understand this? Broadly clear? Yes or no? Very good. So should we write this? लिख लें? Okay. तो तीनों एक साथ ही लिख के खत्म करें. And then we can move on to the next topic. Any major doubt? Minor नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ मैं. Major doubt है तो पूछो. नहीं है. Very good. Write down. So in minor movements, right? Minor movements. The earth does mainly three minor movements. The earth does mainly three minor movements. One, eccentricity. One, eccentricity. Second, eccentricity which has a period of nearly 1 lakh years. वो सब बोर्ड पे है, वहां से देखते जाओ. And if you want to draw the diagram, draw it. Eccentricity which has a period of 1 lakh years. Mainly due to what? Gravity of other planets. Right? Mainly due to gravity of other planets such as Jupiter and Saturn. ठीक है? Gravity of other planets such as Jupiter and Saturn. That's why it is doing eccentricity. ठीक है? Then second movement, precession. The second minor movement, precession. This one, period, nearly 26,000 years. Don't write 19 there, write 26. Nearly 26,000 years. Alright. Due to which the polar star changes. The polar star changes between Vega and Polaris. ठीक है? Polar star changes between Vega and Polaris. Which one is right now? Polaris. ठीक है? And third, obliquity. Obliquity. Okay. So obliquity, the angles, the period, and we'll write the outcome in one go in the end. तीनों का. ठीक है? Have you drawn? Drawn and written? वो लिख लो. The Earth's tilt with so changes here. What is changing is the Earth's tilt with respect to the orbit of revolution. In obliquity, the Earth's tilt with respect to orbit of revolution changes. Earth's tilt with respect to orbit of revolution changes. Between what angles? 22.1 and 24.5. Between 22.1 and 24.5. नींद आ रही है? यस. ठीक है, मुंह धो सकते हो बाहर जाके, दैट्स फाइन. आती है कभी कभी, सबको ही नींद आती है. Okay, 22.1 and 24.5. What is the present angle? Presently it is 23.5. ठीक है, all right. Now, right, because of these three minor movements, the Earth's climate changes over a long period. Earth's climate changes over a long period. Within bracket, tens of thousands of years. Tens of thousands of years. 10,000 years. लिखते हैं ना, tens of thousand, right? Tens of thousands of years. Right, so that is the period. I'm not giving a number here. Why? Because there are different climate changes which happen because of this. All right, but they generally have a period of tens of thousands of years. Right. For example, the last ice age, 10,000 years earlier. For example, the last ice age, nearly 10,000 years, in past. So we had an ice age. Then now what we have? We have a warm period. Which means after again few tens of thousands of years, we'll again have a ice age. So when you are between ice ages, you call it as the interglacial period. इस period को हम बोलते हैं interglacial period. ठीक है? What is interglacial period? Period between ice ages. So right now we are between ice ages. ठीक है? All right? Interglacial period. Right now we are in the interglacial. Past glacial is over. Future glacier is a few 10,000 years ahead. So we are right now in the interglacial period. Right? Presently we are in interglacial period between ice ages. All right. So this climate change on the earth is a natural process also. It's not only a man-made process. Climate change on the earth is a natural process also. It's not only a man-made process. I want you to write that in your copy. Right? Because they can ask you, do you know of any natural climate change? You would say yes. Then the next question will be, then climate change is a natural process? Yes or no? It is. Hence, climate change is a natural process also. Underline that word also. Why? Because the present climate change is not natural. This is man-made. है ना? जो present climate change हो रहा है, global warming, that is not natural. That is man-made. So Earth has its own climate change, but it is cyclic. So Earth knows how to handle it. Something that is natural to you, you know how to handle it. Yes or no? But if something is forced on you, then you don't know how to handle. So the present climate change that we human beings are doing on the earth is not natural to the earth. Hence the earth does not know how to survive it. Okay? All the past climate changes have been natural. Why? Because of the movements. So when the movement go one way, you have climate change and obviously the movement will come back. But what human beings are doing, this will not come back. So earth does not know how to handle. This is unique about this climate change. नहीं तो फिर तो हम डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के जैसा बात कर रहे हैं, है ना? अगर आप उसको बता दो नेचुरल क्लाइमेट चेंज भी होता है, देन ही विल से, देन व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? हाउ डज इट मैटर? नेचुरल भी होता है, ये भी हो रहा है. द डिफरेंस इज इन whether it is natural. If it was natural, earth would know how to reverse it because earth has its process. This is not natural. Hence earth does not know how to reverse this. Is that okay? Right? Because it is not part of the natural process. Okay? Good enough. Hopefully we understand. So minor movements over. Right? Now come to the remaining part of major movement. Let us come back to rotation. And that's where we'll do latitude, longitude also. क्योंकि अब हमें जरूरत पड़ेगा. Yes. That's something else. Leave it. That's with respect to the moon's movement. Okay, we'll talk of that in tides, not here. Right? So, okay. हाँ जी, और कुछ है? बोलो बोलो. Because of the Earth's natural movement, the Earth is forced to get warmer. Supposed to be warmer. Then how do we differentiate between whether it is natural or it is man-made? What should I give you an answer as? मैं सोच रहा हूँ example. आपका day to day life से, ताकि आपको समझ में आ जाए. You know, there could be different examples for this. I would simply say that how much natural climate change is happening you can calculate by the processes. And if you observe that there is a climate change which is happening in addition to what was normal. ऐसा आपने आंसर लिखा एग्जाम के अंदर 40 नंबर का, आपको पता है 40 नंबर आ रहे हैं, बट अगर 50 आ जाएं तो वैल्यूडेशन नहीं, और लिखा ही ना हो वैल्यूडेशन, तो क्या लगेगा ये 10 कैसे आए? फिगर आउट करोगे ना, तो हमारा जो एडिशनल है वो एडिशनल वाला 10 है, जो कि होना नहीं चाहिए अर्थ के ऊपर, बिकॉज आवर प्रोसेस टेल अस दैट दिस मच वार्मिंग ओनली शुड हैपन, एंड वी आर फाइंडिंग दैट द वार्मिंग इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय 1.5 to 2 or 3 degrees. Where is that coming from? Then we look for reasons and then we find, oh, we are releasing this and that. आया समझ में? So this is what is telling us that this much would have been normal. Anything beyond this is abnormal. ठीक है? Second thing is climate change does not happen in 150 years. ये कितने साल का साइकिल है? Lakhs of years, millions of years. वैसा भी साइकिल हो जाता है कई बार, राइट? lakhs, millions, tens of thousands. ठीक है? तो यहां तो 150 ईयर ही हुआ है और 150 में ही हमने बहुत कुछ बदल दिया. ठीक है? So this is a very short duration and hence this is a very fast change. So अगर इस रेट पे चले तो पार हो जाएंगे. All right? Yes. So now come to major movements. Major movements. लिख लिया that heading. I hope most of you need a break. Yes sir. चाहिए ना ब्रेक? ले लो यार, मतलब नहीं तो बाद में मुझे ब्लेम करोगे, सर कुछ खाने पीने नहीं देते. Okay, take a 15-minute break, come back in 15 minutes, then we start. Sir, how long do we give them? आप लोग को normally break 15 मिनट का मिलता है, 10 मिनट का? 10 ही चाहिए? हाँ, तो सिर्फ 10 लेके आ जाओ, जाओ. Very good. Settled? ठीक है. Start करें? Right, so there was a question. Sir, what causes the changes in obliquity of the Earth's axis? Some of you might have the same question, sir. What causes the changes in the Earth's precession? है ना? Eccentricity reason we have written, that is the gravity of other planets. What is the reason for precession and obliquity or axial tilt? The reason for this, we can say, would be the initial collisions which happened between planets or planetoids when the Earth was formed. Right? I gave an example to somebody who came to me a few minutes back that suppose you have a lattu rotating and you throw another lattu and hit the first lattu. While it is rotating, what will happen? Will it fall down? Not necessarily. It might go on rotating, but it will keep wobbling. So that is what you call as the wobbling. Right? So something like that is happening to the Earth, which is still to settle down. Now you might think, sir, 4.6 billion years is a long time. It's not a long time in terms of astronomy. Okay, so it's a small period only. It's not very large because the effect is still not phased out. ठीक है? हमारा टाइम फ्रेम और दूसरे का टाइम फ्रेम सेम हो जरूरी नहीं है. Right? Okay. So come back. Now, so we come back to the concepts of major movement, latitude and longitude. So what I'll do is, first I'll introduce you to this concept of latitude, longitude, which I believe slightly आप लोग को पता है, but still I have to tell you a few things. Okay, so we'll do that fast and then we come to the major movements and their effects. Okay, and then while doing major movements, we'll understand slightly more about latitude, longitudes. So what do we mean by latitude and longitude? What is the latitude? First of all, these latitudes and longitudes, अब यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा heading और बनाओ, latitude and longitude, and under that write down, right, latitude and longitude, and under that write down, make a subheading, छोटा subheading, latitude, longitude, under that write down, these are imaginary lines. These are imaginary lines drawn over the Earth's surface. Imaginary lines drawn over the Earth's surface to fix up location. To fix up location coordinates. To fix up location coordinates. ठीक है, the way we do on a graph paper. The way we do on a graph paper. ठीक है? Alright. So on the graph paper, what do? We draw vertical lines and we draw horizontal lines, and the horizontal line becomes x-axis and the vertical line becomes y-axis, and based on that x-axis, y-axis, we go on to tell the coordinate. ये किया है आपने? पूरा बचपन में बहुत बार किया होगा ये बुक्स में, right? The same thing we do on the earth also. But when we do on the earth, you could ask me, sir, that there could be different ways of creating those circles on the earth, right? For example, we could have created a, let's say, earth is like this. ऐसा है, right? Something like this. So we could have created the circles like this and like this. ऐसा ये भी बना सकते थे. This was one possibility, right? And another possibility was maybe and like this. ये भी बना सकते थे. Why did we choose something like, you know, something like this, ऐसा? Why did we choose something like this, where we are joining the north and the south and we are making horizontal parallel circles? ऐसा क्यों choose किया हमने? Something like this, ऐसा. So there is a logic behind it, right? Why did we draw the circles like this? The logic is, we have joined the North Pole and the South Pole. What is the North Pole and the South Pole? They are the points where the Earth's axis of rotation touches the Earth's surface. Through the center of the Earth, an axis is there, and around that axis the Earth is rotating. ऐसा? So where is that axis touching the Earth's surface? At the North Pole and the South Pole. So we have taken those two poles, point locations. We have called this point location where the axis goes like this as North Pole, and the other one as South Pole. Why? Because the axis of rotation of the Earth, axis of rotation of the Earth passes through it, and then we have connected those poles. So that's why you don't get parallel lines, you get lines which merge at the North Pole and South Pole. Okay, so they are merging, you can see here, these lines are merging on the North Pole and they are merging on the South Pole, right? So we have taken it along that axis because that helps. Why? Because you will understand over a period how it helps. Okay, and we call them as longitudes. Okay, so we call these lines as longitude. What are longitudes? Longitudes are half circles. They are not full circles. They are half circle connecting one pole to the other. One. So they are not full circles, they are half circles. One. Second, will all the longitudes be same in dimension, size on the Earth's surface? If you measure the length from North Pole to the South Pole, will all the longitudes be same? Yes. Second. So all longitudes are same in their dimensions except for their value. Okay, their values and numbers might be different, but they are exactly same. So if you cut all the longitudes and put them together, they will all look same. If I don't write the number on the longitude, you can't tell which longitude it is. Why? Because they are all exactly same. They are just connecting straight line from North Pole to south pole over the Earth's curved surface. So they are all same, right? So they are half circles and they are all same in size. Is that okay? Right? And are they parallel? No. Why? Because around the equator they are farthest and at the poles they are converging. तो parallel तो है नहीं. Parallel line क्या होता है? Distance is same all along. Distance between the line should remain same, but here the distance is changing. You can see here it is maximum distance, here it is minimum distance. दिख रहा है ना? So they are not parallel, right? Now, so this is one longitude that we have created, and this is the vertical one. Now, how have we created the horizontal one? What we have done is we have taken this whole rotation only, right? And while the Earth is rotating, right? While the Earth goes on like this, Jupiter एक काम करिएगा. Please, आपका भी नाम कुछ भी है ना? Do we laugh at your name? जुपिटर एक काम करेगा, इसका ना स्क्रू गिर गया है, ठीक है? हाँ, तो थोड़ा ला करके लगा दीजिए, हाथ में लग सकता है. अभी नहीं, क्लास के बाद, मे बी कल का क्लास में चाहिए होगा, ठीक है? शुक्रिया. So let us say when we take this Earth like this, ऐसा, and we are rotating it, right? When the Earth is rotating something like this and it is rotating vertical, let's say we have not tilted, right? And what do the longitudes? So if you have to create horizontal line on this, right, you can create at different levels like this, ऐसा ऐसा चारों ओर पूरा सर्कल पे बना सकते हैं ना, different horizontal lines, right? So that's exactly what we call as latitudes. इसको हम latitude बोलते हैं, horizontal lines. But are they also the same in dimension? They are not same. Why? Because for the rotating Earth, because we are not doing like this, we are doing like aisa. So because of this thing, the shape that we are, or the direction that we have taken, the circles are of different size on the Earth's surface. The ones closer to the pole are smaller, and the one away from the pole or equidistant from the pole on both the sides is the largest. So how will you get that circle? That circle is nothing but a circle which divides the Earth into two halves. Can we say? If we draw a circle on the Earth horizontal while the Earth is rotating, which divide the Earth into two equal halves. दो equal half में divide कर दिया, ठीक है? So what do you get? You get two equal halves, and that circle is the biggest circle that you can draw on the Earth's surface horizontally. When the Earth is rotating, बोल सकते हैं ना? If the Earth is rotating vertically, then the biggest circle that you can draw on the Earth's surface horizontally is the circle that will divide the Earth into two equal halves, and we call it hence equal halves, hence equator. आया समझ में? So when you talk of the latitudes, what is the latitude? Latitude is the horizontal circle drawn on the Earth's surface when the Earth is rotating vertically. One, and different latitudes will not be of different same size, unlike longitudes. Why? Because some are closer to the pole, some are away from the pole. Which is the biggest circle on the, which is the biggest latitude on the Earth? Equator. Why? Because it is equidistant from both the pole and it cuts the Earth into two equal halves, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. आगे समझ में? Do we get it? So this is what your latitude are. Will the latitudes be parallel? Yes, as you can see, latitudes are parallel. So once you draw the latitude and longitude together, है ना? तो हमें क्या मिला? Then you get ऐसा grid. Can you see? This is your grid. This is also grid. And using this grid, if you put numbers to each of the line, let us say all the longitude you put a number and all the latitude you put a number, then you can say any position on the Earth. अगर कुछ यहाँ पे है, you can say circle number 5 horizontally and circle number 9 vertically. That's where, है ना? So you can always figure out. So this is exactly, this is a grid system only, but on a round surface. आपने जो copy में graph बनाया, that was on a horizontal surface. This is on a vertical. And in this we have taken some convenience with respect to Earth's movement. ठीक है? That's why we have drawn it this way. Is this broadly clear? Yes or no? पक्का? So we'll slightly go further on this. And नाम के ऊपर यार किसी के भी नाम पे हंसना, आप खुद सोचो ये कितना awkward सा situation है. आप कहीं जाओ, आप अपना नाम बोलो और आसपास सब हंसने लगे. How will you feel? I'm not saying this, right? But that maybe that coincidence, you know, that synchronization of your laugh and the name calling was such, क्योंकि उसको बुरा लग जाता है कई बार, राइट? किसी को भी लग सकता है. आप ही हो यार, इंडियन हो, आप जाओ फॉरेनर्स के बीच में जाके बोलो अपना नाम, वो बोलेंगे व्हाट्स योर नेम, 5 बार वो आपसे व्हाट व्हाट पूछते रहेंगे एंड यू फील ऑकवर्ड. ठीक है? सो वो थोड़ा सेंसिटाइजेशन करो ग्रेजुअली अपने आप में, ऑल ऑफ यू, राइट? Because you are gradually exposing yourself to, you know, different cultures, so you should sensitize yourself. There are many names that you will never be able to pronounce, I can tell you. When you go around the world, कई नाम आप कभी नहीं बोल सकोगे, कितना भी जान लगा लो. ठीक है? Then you will find shortcuts and then you have to say sorry. This we learned in the process. Right? You have to say sorry that I'm extremely sorry I'm not able to pronounce your name. That's my limitation, not your limitation of your name. आपका नाम बिल्कुल perfect है. बहुत सारे लोग बुलाते हैं. हमारा लिमिटेशन है, आवर माउथ एंड आवर टंग इज नॉट सो क्लियर दैट वी आर एबल टू प्रोनाउंस और कॉल और अंडरस्टैंड. ठीक है? सो एनीवेज, कमिंग बैक. सो नाउ लेट अस राइट अबाउट द फर्स्ट. वी टेक अप लैटिट्यूड. पहला हम लैटिट्यूड समझेंगे. ओके, देन वील कम टू लॉन्गिट्यूड. सो लैटिट्यूड, ओके, 2020 का बिगनिंग में आई वॉज इन फिनलैंड एंड आई मेट अ लैप. Lapland is the region where you find those Eskimo, मतलब the polar region tribes. And this was a girl, and I asked her name, and she told me 7-8 times. She was the caretaker of reindeers, and she told me 7-8 times I couldn't pronounce it. ठीक है? Because the names are such, हम बोल ही नहीं पाते, right? Then you have to understand कि यार ये हमारा limitation है कि हमको इनका नाम नहीं समझ में आता. Alright, and this happens at many places. Right? So anyways, coming back, latitude, write down. Latitudes are horizontal circles. Latitudes are horizontal circles on the horizontal circle on the surface of the earth. On the surface of the earth, when the earth is rotating on the vertical axis. Earth is rotating on a vertical axis. Full stop. This way we can create numerous circles parallel to each other. Numerous circles parallel to each other as shown. Something like this. As shown. This one. Okay. As shown. All of which will differ in size. As the circles closer to the pole will be smaller. As the circles closer to the poles will be smaller, and the ones farther from the pole will be bigger. Okay, full stop. This way the biggest horizontal circle we can draw is the one equidistant from both poles. Biggest circle, horizontal circle we can draw is the one equidistant, from both poles, and hence it would divide the earth into two equal halves. Divide the earth into two equal halves. Right? Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Hence this is also called as equator. Hence this is also called as equator. Equator. Okay, full stop. The plane of equatorial circle. The plane of equatorial circle. Plane means the plane in which the equatorial circle is. Right? The plane of equatorial circle passes through the center of the earth. Plane of the equatorial circle passes through the center of the earth. Okay, you can see it here. Suppose I make the plane on which the circle is there. So you can see it is passing through the, can you see here? यहाँ दिख रहा है? It is passing through the center of the earth. Center means core का center. Alright. So it will pass through the center of the earth, right? Now how do we measure the angles? That's why I have taken you here. So how do you get to the center of the earth? You get to the center of the earth by the equatorial plane, right? So equatorial plane, you cut through the earth, wherever it goes in the middle of the earth, that is the center of the earth. And this point becomes your center of earth. Center of earth. Now, how do you measure the angles? So the equator itself is considered as 0 degree. That's how we measure, right? So it passes through the center of earth. वो लिख लिया आपने. Hence, the equatorial line from the center to the equatorial circle. Hence, the equatorial line from the center of the earth, to the equatorial circle is considered as what latitude? 0 degree latitude. Is considered at 0 degree latitude. And this way the angle to all other, and this way is considered at 0 degree latitude. And this way angle to all other latitude circles is measured. This way angle to all other latitude circles is measured. Okay, so suppose this is the other latitude circle, ye wala on the earth surface, blue line. So how do you measure the angle? You make that line something like this and you measure this angle. What is the angle? 15 degree. So what does that latitude become? 15 degree. Do we get it? So this is how we can measure. And what is the maximum angle you can measure this way? 90 degree. Why not beyond 90? Because when you go on the other side of 90, you will meet the same circle again, which you have met before 90 degree. Latitudinal circle. So you can go only up to 90 degree. So what is the maximum latitude possible? 90 degree. Okay. So I hope you understand. We measure the angle. You can write next line. This way, the maximum latitude point, the maximum angle for latitude point is 90 degree. Maximum angle for latitude point is 90 degree. For which region? For the pole. 90 degree for the pole. Pole, not polar circle, pole. For the pole, north and south. ठीक है, फॉर द पोल. सो पोल को क्या बोलते हैं? 90 डिग्री लैटिट्यूड. इज दैट क्लियर? नाउ विल यू हैव ओनली वन साइड और बोथ द साइड्स? You will have it on both the sides. So this way 15 degree north and 15 degree this side also you get on the other side, right? And same ways you can get pole also on the other side. So all the latitudes north of equator are called as north latitudes. All the latitudes south of equator are called as southern latitudes. ठीक है, very simple things. Most of you know, but some of you might be confused, so I am saying. तो जो नहीं पता वो लिख लो. Right, so all the latitude north of equator are northern latitudes, so they will end with N, and all the latitudes south of equator are southern latitudes. Right, so 0 to 90 degree north and 0 to 90 degree south, these are the latitudes. Is that okay? Okay, so latitude clear. So how many latitudes we have? 0 to 90 north, 0 to 90 degree south, so total 90, 90, 180. 180 latitudes we broadly have on the earth's surface. Is this clear? ठीक है, very good. Are they parallel? Latitudes are parallel, which means their distance is constant. Please do write, latitudes are parallel, hence their distance is constant. Latitudes are parallel, hence their distance is constant. Hence parallel, hence their distance is constant. Hence between every 1 degree latitude, hence between every 1 degree latitude on the earth's surface, 1 degree latitude on the earth's surface, we have a distance of nearly 111 kilometer. Every 1 degree latitude on the earth's surface, we have a distance of nearly 111 kilometers. Every 1 degree latitude, distance of nearly 111 kilometers. All right. But this distance keeps slightly changing. This distance keeps slightly changing. This distance keeps slightly changing as we move from equator to poles. From equator to poles. Okay, it will keep changing within a gap of around, so it is slightly more. That also increasing slightly towards the pole. Increases, right? Increasing slightly toward the pole. So when you are near the equator, the distance might be something like 111 kilometers. When you go near the pole, the distance might increase by 111 point some kilometers. Okay, so slight change is there, only slight as you go higher. Why is that so? Earth's surface is not perfectly spherical, right? It is curved surface. So on that curved surface, the gap becomes slightly more when you go toward the pole. Is that all right? Okay, very good. So latitude समझ में आ गया broadly. Now there are two latitude that we have to understand: tropics and polar circle. That we'll understand slightly later. That we'll understand with respect to movements. Is that okay? Hanji. यार एक सिंपल काम करो, 0 से 190 तक काउंट मारो. So okay, if you say 1 to 90, how many numbers? 90. And again 1 to 90, तो कितना हुआ? 180 प्लस इक्वेटर, वो भी 0 है, तो कितना हो गया? सिंपल कैलकुलेशन, किसी से पूछना नहीं है ये सब. They might ask question, there you have to calculate, count. That's why they are asking you. ठीक है? So 1 to 180, 1 to 90, 1 to 90 plus your 0. अब लैटिट्यूड में भी देखेंगे, सॉरी लॉन्गिट्यूड में कितना होता है अभी देखते हैं. ठीक है? So should we come to the next one, right? So now लॉन्गिट्यूड्स, थोड़ा सा लॉन्गिट्यूड भी लिख लेते हैं फिर आगे देखते हैं. So what are how do we get the longitudes? See here, longitudes are something like this. ऐसा, ये देखो, right? Longitudes are something like this, or you can draw it like this also. ऐसा, maybe this circle helps you, right? So longitudes are created by joining pole to pole on the surface of Earth. Longitudes are created, please do write, longitudes are created by joining pole to pole on the surface of Earth, pole to pole on the surface of Earth. As straight lines, straight lines. Hence, every longitude is a semicircle. Every longitude is a semicircle on the Earth's surface. Is a semicircle on the Earth's surface, right? Of similar size, of same size. Rather than similar, use the word same. Same size. Every longitude has same size, right? Of same size. Unlike latitudes. Unlike latitudes. So every longitude is of same size, unlike latitudes. ठीक है? Now if they are all same, then how will you say which one is equator like? यहाँ पे तो कोई सबसे बड़ा है नहीं. Latitude में you had the बड़ा भाई and छोटा भाई, but यहाँ पे everyone is equal भाई. ठीक है? तो यहाँ क्या करेंगे? How will you say which one is major? So when geography doesn't play a role, polity comes in. ठीक है? So here polity came in. What was the polity? When this was to be decided during the colonial period, there was a fight between the French and the Germans. French and the British, sorry. And the Britishers having larger rule, right? They said, जब कुछ नहीं है तो ठीक है, we have a Royal Astronomical Observatory in London, Greenwich. Whatever line is passing through that is the main line, prime meridian. That is prime, everything else calculated from there. Everybody else said, okay, ठीक है, हमें आज़ादी दे दो और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. Latitude आप अपना रख लो यार, आज़ादी दे दो बस. ठीक है, क्योंकि दूसरों का कंसर्न अलग था, ब्रिटिशर्स का था, हमें तो लैटिट्यूड भी नापना है, ये भी करना है. ठीक है? So this is how Greenwich was decided. There was a short period when the French followed a different system and the British followed a different system. But later on, everyone agreed to the same, which is the Britishers. ठीक है? Because we had a bigger influence of the British during that colonial period. So more countries are agreed to this. ठीक है? So what is your main meridian as you call? Main or prime? Prime का मतलब क्या होता है? Main. Another way of saying main. ठीक है? So which is the main meridian here? Or main latitude or main longitude? The one which is passing through that observatory. Right? They said that is 0 degree. So that's how you find. Okay. So on the Earth's surface, how do you get it? यहाँ पे ये देखिए. Can you see there? That dotted line in between that is passing through that British region. वो लंदन का exactly वहाँ पे बीच से क्रॉस करता है. And it does not pass through only London. It passes through Africa also. But Africa कोई बोलता नहीं है. सब लंदन लंदन ही करते रहते हैं. वहाँ पे भी बहुत सारा गांव है. है ना? So do we get it? So based on that. So that is 0 degree. So this one is 0. All right. And with respect to that 0. So this becomes a 0. यहाँ पे something like this. This line. Okay. Let me draw it in slightly different color. ऐसा. ठीक है? That is the 0. And with respect to 0, you go on calculating all the other latitude angles. Sorry, longitude angles. ठीक है? So 0 and then, so this way, how far can you go? Other side. And other side is how, what angle? 180 on the other side. And from, on both the sides you can go up to 180, 180. ठीक है? So this is how you get. Right? So this becomes 0. Then east. So half of them will be on east. Other half will be on west. And how many? 180 on east and 180 ऑन वेस्ट, कैसा पता चलेगा? 1 से 179 एंड 1 से 179, देन ऐड 0 एंड 180, तो टोटल कितना हुआ? 179 179 358 प्लस 0 डिग्री प्लस 180 डिग्री, सो वो 360 है। ये सब आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो, रटना नहीं है, ठीक है? इज दैट ओके? राइट, सो वी गेट 360 डिग्रीज ऑफ longitude. Is this okay? Very good. So now when you see this surface, so now अगर ये समझ में आ गया तो let us write, and what do we call that 180 degree? क्योंकि कईयों के दिमाग में होगा सर इंटरनेशनल रेट लाइन है, वो नहीं है। Exact 180 degree is not international rate line. International rate line is slightly different from 180 degree, so we'll talk of that later. अभी नहीं, first you have to understand that much, तब जा करके रटने वाला काम नहीं करना है, ठीक है? So let us write this much. That's why I'm not giving you any names right now. I'm just giving you the numbers, right? So write down the longitude passing through Greenwich, the astronomical observatory at Greenwich, England. Longitude passing through astronomical observatory Greenwich, England is considered 0 degree longitude. Is considered 0 degree longitude. And with respect to that, all longitudes on either side, are calculated or are measured. With respect to that, all longitudes on either side are measured. ठीक है, measured. This way we get (180° longitude on the opposite side of 0 degree, 180° longitude. This way we get 180° longitude on the opposite side of 0 degree, and 1 2 and 1 TO2 and 1 TO to 179° longitudes, 1 to 179°, and 1 to 179° longitude on east as well as west, 1 TO 179° longitude on east as well as west of 0° longitude, east and west of 0° longitude. This way we have a total of 360° longitudes. This way we have a total of 360° longitudes. Okay, they are not parallel but they coincide at the poles. The longitudes are not parallel but they coincide at the poles. Coincide at the poles. Okay, now should the distance, what should be the distance between every 1° longitude? Should it be constant? They are coinciding. So can the distance be constant? No, right? Therefore the distance between longitudes is not fixed, right? Because they are coinciding, the distance between longitudes is not fixed, right? Where will it be maximum? How much? Same, 111. And what will it be at the pole? 0, right? So at the equator, the distance between 1° longitude is 111 kilometers, the same as latitudes, but not at the pole. All right, good enough. So basic latitude, longitude we understand, right? Now, once you understand this basic thing, now let us come to rotation. अब rotation लिखिए. Rotation of rotation नहीं, I'm so sorry, revolution of Earth. ये rotation revolution आज सुबह से ही थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो रहा है. So revolution of the Earth. Okay. So when we talk of the revolution of the Earth, the earth revolves around the sun, something like this, and the aphelion perihelion position is the first thing that I want to you to have in your copy. So when the earth revolves around the sun on the elliptical orbit around January, it is at the perihelion position. ये बना भी लो और लिख भी लो जल्दी से, ठीक है? When the earth revolves around the sun, earth revolves around the sun in a elliptical orbit around 4th January, it is closest. Around 4th January, it is closest, known as perihelion. 4th January, it is closest, known as perihelion. Spelling on the board, known as perihelion. Distance 147 million kilometers. Distance 147 million kilometers. Right, and around 3rd of July, it is farthest from the sun. Distance 152 million kilometers. Okay, 152 million kilometers. Okay, 152 million kilometers, full stop. The average distance of the earth from the sun is 150 million kilometers. Average distance of the earth from the sun is 150 million kilometers, also known as 1 astronomical unit. 1 astronomical unit. So how much is the distance between the earth and the sun? 1 astronomical unit, which is 150 million kilometer. Why do we say 1 astronomical unit here? This is the unit of measuring distance in the solar system. Astronomical unit is the unit of measuring distance in the solar system. In the universe, how do you measure distance? Light years. But in the solar system, you can't use light years. Why? Because sunlight takes only 8 minutes to come from the sun to the earth. So 8 minutes को light years में कैसे convert करोगे? ठीक है? So there we use 1 astronomical unit. So Earth Sun distance is 1 astronomical unit. 1 Earth Mars distance we measure like that. ठीक है? Is this understood? Right? So astronomical unit is the distance of measuring. Sorry, astronomical unit is the unit of measuring distance in solar system. Why? Because in the solar system distances are less. It's not as much as light year. ठीक है? When you are measuring the distance from a galaxy or from a star, we use light years. Alright? Very good. Now come back. The next part. इतना तो समझ में आ गया. But अब यहाँ पे हमारा doubt था. What was the doubt? The doubt was that in January, how come northern hemisphere has winter? And in July, how come northern hemisphere has summer? In January, northern hemisphere is closest to the sun and we are experiencing winter. How come? है ना? जब आप सन का पास हो तब तो गर्मी होना चाहिए. But we are experiencing winter. Why is this so? The answer to this is that gap is irrelevant in terms of the large distance between sun and the earth. It is just a gap of 1 to 2% more. Right? अगर 1 to 2% आप किसी चीज को किसी से पास हो दूर कर दो तो आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ठीक है? Human beings can sensibly, visibly understand or visibly or sensibly understand a variation of 10% or more only. When the gap is less than 10%, we can't sense it. Now let us talk in terms of temperature. If the distance changes by 1 or 2%, how much should the temperature change? 1 or 2%. What is the average temperature of the earth? कितना टेम्परेचर है? अच्छा चलो गर्मियों में या ठंड में व्हाट इज द टेम्परेचर? 10 डिग्रीज और 15 डिग्रीज और 20 डिग्रीज. 20 डिग्रीज का 1% कितना होगा? उतना टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज कर दो 10.02 डिग्रीज या 10.2 डिग्रीज. विल यू रियलाइज 10.2 तो आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. डू यू गेट इट? सो इट्स अ वेरी नेग्लिजिबल वेरिएशन. ठीक है, सो वी डोंट सेंस दैट वेरिएशन. दैट्स द रीजन. डज दैट आंसर योर क्वेश्चन? आपका भी आंसर मिल गया. ठीक है ना? दिस इज वाई वी गेट इट. इज दिस क्लियर? राइट. सो वी कैन राइट दिस that this distance variation does not affect this distance variation of 1 to 2%. You write this way, this distance variation of 1 to 2% does not affect distance variation of 1 to 2% does not affect the heat received on the earth, does not affect the heat received on the earth in any sensible manner. So it's very negligible. All right. Now come to the next thing. We also understood, ये लिखना है because I have already explained this to you. We also understood that the Earth's tilt is constant. Earth's tilt is constant with respect to the vertical. Is constant with respect to the vertical to the plane of revolution. Is constant with respect to the plane of revolution, right? Measuring 23.5 degrees, measuring 23.5 degrees with respect to the vertical, measuring 23.5 degrees with respect to the vertical to the plane of revolution. 23.5 degrees with respect to the vertical to the plane of revolution in a fixed direction. This is very important. Underline. In a fixed direction. In a fixed direction. ठीक है? What is the fixed direction here? Towards what are we tilted? पढ़ा था आपने obliquity में? Sorry, not obliquity, precession. किसकी तरफ? Polaris, right? So just imagine, अब इधर देखो सब. Suppose this is the sun. All right? This is the sun. This is the orbit. ठीक है? This is the orbit. And this is the earth. In two positions. ठीक है? I've taken two positions for the earth. One is this, the other is this. ऐसा, दो position. Right? Right? Now, in what direction is it tilted? Polaris. Let us say Polaris is somewhere. Is it close to the, is it with respect to the distance between the earth and the sun? How far should Polaris be? काफी दूर. यहाँ पे Do you get what I'm trying to show? Polaris तो यहाँ कहीं होगा ना, right? So that's the distance. So in what direction should the tilt be showing? To Polaris? Yes? So what is the direction of the tilt of the earth with respect to that axis? It's almost fixed. वो हमेशा उधर ही पॉइंट कर रहा है. Do you get it? Yes or no? Right? Everyone is clear? So this is always pointing in this direction, which means if this is the sun, this is the earth, and I have tilted it like this, and let us say this time उधर की जगह इधर कर लेते हैं because इसका tilt ऐसा है, इस साइड या चलो ऐसा ही मान लिया आप ही का भाषा में, ऐसा tilted है पोलारिस, और यहाँ पे भी पोलारिस. So is it changing its tilt with respect to the sun, right? Or is it trying to tilt itself for the sun? It is not. Least concerned. sun के साथ क्या हो रहा है? Because it is trying to align itself with respect to Polaris. Do we get it? So one, the angle of tilt is fixed. What is the angle? 23.5. But with respect to what? Orbit का vertical. ठीक है? Do we get it? One. Second, is the direction changing? It is always fixed with respect to Polaris. But now tell me, what is happening with respect to sun? Here, 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 and here. These four positions. Is the tilt same with respect to sun? No. For example, in this position, is it tilted with respect to sun? Why? In this position, is it tilted with respect to sun? No. Why? Because neither north hemisphere nor south hemisphere is tilted toward the sun. So यहाँ पे तो tilt है ही नहीं with respect to sun. Tilt is there, but with respect to Polaris. Here, why? No tilt with respect to sun. Whereas, tilt or no? How much? First of all, which direction? Northern hemisphere? Away from the sun? So give me the answer now with respect to sun only. Northern hemisphere? Southern hemisphere? Toward the sun. Right? And in this position, the tilt is maximum with respect to sun also. And if I measure this angle, how much will it be? 23.5. So here the tilt with respect to sun is 23.5, such that northern hemisphere is, southern hemisphere is towards. Here the tilt is 0 degree with respect to the sun. This is the important thing that you have to understand. We remember earth is tilted with respect to sun at 23.5 degree. Wrong statement. Earth is not tilted with respect to the sun at 23.5 degree. Within 3 months, the angle changes from 23.5 to 0. And then, is it tilted? Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, angle 23. Tilted? No. Angle? Both are equally tilted, or so no tilt. Is this clear? So this is the relative tilt with respect to the sun. So this you have to write in your copy now. Okay? Because this is something that gives you season. This changing tilt. Alright? So now, with respect to the sun, the earth's tilt is variable or constant? Variable. With respect to the sun, the earth's tilt is variable. Right? Such that, let us take 1 month. Such that, which month? June. Which date? 21st. Right? Now, rather than 21st, remembering the date, because these dates also change. You remember June and what solstice? But is it right word? Summer solstice. Why? Because summer is only in the, और southern में क्या है? तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया वालों को तो इस टाइम पे भी क्या बोलना पड़ता है? समर सोलिस्टिस, और वो बेचारा ऐसा स्वेटर पहन करके समर सोलिस्टिस कर रहा है. क्यों? ब्रिटिशर्स की वजह से. अगेन पॉलिटिक्स, उनके यहां बर्फ पड़ गया तो पूरा दुनिया में बर्फ पड़ गया, ठीक है, डू यू गेट इट? एंड दिसंबर में 6 months लेटर क्या हो रहा है यहां पे? डू यू गेट इट? राइट, सो दिसंबर इज व्हाट आर द ऑस्ट्रेलियंस एक्सपीरियंसिंग? समर, है ना, क्रिसमस टाइम समर, लेकिन उनको सेंटा क्लॉज और बर्फ बर्फ दिखाना पड़ता है, बेचारा पसीना गिरता रहता है उनका, अपना निक्कर पहन के घूम रहा है, ठीक है, और बोलते हैं सेंटा क्लॉज आ गए रेनडियर पे। वो रेनडियर भी बेचारा अपना सारा पसीना से तबाह होगा। जस्ट इमेजिन, दिस इज व्हाट पॉलिटिक्स डज टू अस। ठीक है, सो एनीवेज कमिंग बैक, सो what I want you to write here is, now therefore for your understanding write this as June solstice, don't write summer solstice. Summer solstice is only with respect to, you have remembered it, but that term is wrong, it's a misnomer. ठीक है, जैसा किसी बहुत लड़ने वाले का नाम रख दो शांति प्रिया। ठीक है, मतलब यार आप में से अगर किसी का नाम शांति प्रिय है तो ऐसा पूरा मत मानना, ठीक है, बट है ना, बट आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई मीन, ठीक है। सो ओके, सो व्हाट डू वी राइट इन जून solstice? You write, for example, in June solstice, and I'm not giving you the date number also. Why? Because those dates also change. I'll tell you how later on. In June solstice, the earth is maximum or minimum tilted with respect to sun. क्या होना चाहिए? June solstice, earth is maximum or minimum tilted with respect to sun. Maximum tilted. ठीक है, once you people understand and give the answer yourself, तो फिर अब आपको रटना भी नहीं पड़ेगा, though you are writing but you understand. ठीक है, in June solstice the sun is maximum tilted with respect to the sun. The earth is maximum tilted with respect to the sun. The earth is maximum tilted with respect to the sun, such that the angle of tilt is, the angle of tilt with respect to sun 23.5 degrees. Angle of tilt with respect to sun 23.5 degrees. Northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun. वो भी लिखना है, northern hemisphere tilted toward the sun, southern hemisphere tilted away from the sun. ठीक है, northern hemisphere tilted toward the sun, southern hemisphere tilted away from the sun. So which hemisphere will get more sunlight? Northern hemisphere. And which will get less sunlight? So northern will experience which season? है ना, तो वो लिख लें यहाँ पे. So northern hemisphere will experience summer and southern hemisphere will experience winter. ठीक है, northern hemisphere summer, southern hemisphere winter. Is that okay? That's why I have said June solstice. क्योंकि जून सोलिस्टिस में नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर है समर एंड सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर है विंटर. नहीं तो अगर आप समर सोलिस्टिस लिखोगे और नीचे विंटर लिख रहे हो तो आप खुद बाद में कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे कि हुआ क्या. इज दैट ओके? राइट, देन नेक्स्ट शुड वी मूव ऑन. देन राइट which date, which month? September, right? And what do we call this position as? Equinox. Why equinox? Two reasons. One, because the earth is equally tilted, because of which it has equal duration of day and night on whole earth. Equal duration of day and night on whole earth, right? तो वो हम बाद में लिखेंगे how it has equal duration, but you just write equinox. And which equinox? यहाँ पे भी autumn shortum नहीं लिखना है, September, क्योंकि autumn क्या होता है और spring क्या होता है अभी आपको पता नहीं है. ठीक है, so we call it as September equinox. ठीक है, so September equinox. What is September equinox? Earth's tilt with respect to sun 0 degree. Please do write September equinox. Earth tilt with respect to sun 0 degree. Earth's tilt with respect to sun 0 degree. Hence, neither hemisphere tilted. Hence, neither hemisphere tilted towards or away from sun. Earth's tilt with respect to sun 0 degrees. Hence, neither hemisphere tilted towards or away from sun. Is that okay? Earth is tilted, but it is not tilted towards or away from the sun. Tilt है, but sun की तरफ नहीं है. ठीक है? So not tilted with respect to towards or away from the sun. Hence, it has equal duration of day and night on whole earth. Equal duration of day and night on whole earth. Alright? Is that okay? Now, अब इसमें से ऑटम और स्प्रिंग किसको बोले? अभी देखते हैं, 2 मिनट रुक जाओ. ठीक है? We'll come back to that. Now, so leave some space and then come to the third position, because you have to write about that autumn and spring. Now, leave some space, come down. Third position. What position is this? Which month? So ये क्या है? December solstice. In December solstice, Earth is maximum or minimum? Maximum tilted with respect to sun. वो सब साथ साथ लिखते जाना है. आपको देखना है, आप ही को लिखना है. Right? Earth is maximum tilted with respect to sun at angle 23.5. Maximum tilted with respect to sun at angle 23.5, such that northern hemisphere is tilted. Northern hemisphere tilted away and southern hemisphere tilted towards the sun. वो लिख लेना है. Such that northern hemisphere tilted away and southern hemisphere tilted towards the sun. Okay? ठीक है? So let me write the seasons again. So this time northern hemisphere will have winter and southern hemisphere will have summer. ठीक है? Is this okay? Right? So you can write also northern hemisphere winter, southern hemisphere summer. Because northern hemisphere gets less sunlight, southern hemisphere get more sunlight. Clear? Right. Now, if you see hemispheres now, ठीक है? अब hemisphere देखो. Right? All of you. So now first of all I'm drawing for the northern hemisphere. So I'm connecting the northern hemisphere locations. Something like this. And then with that yellow line I'm connecting the southern hemisphere locations. Is that okay? Now if I ask you, between June to December, northern hemisphere is experiencing what? Please see on the board and tell me. Between June to December, northern hemisphere is experiencing a transition from which season to which season? Summer to winter. And northern hemisphere in September is doing the transition from summer to, ये लिख सकते हैं ना, summer to winter. And southern hemisphere is doing the transition from winter to summer. Southern hemisphere का transition is from winter to summer. ठीक है? Now, what do you call when you do the transition from summer to, अभी क्या है? Winter है ना? Winter से you are going towards summer. So in between phase, March and all, what will you call it as? क्या बोलेंगे हम? What do you experience when you go from winters to summers? I'm asking what season will you experience? Spring. Spring का मतलब क्या होता है? When the flowers start to blossom back on the trees. That's how you call as spring. वो नाम वहाँ से आया. Right? So why do we call it as spring? Because again flowers will start blossoming. And when you move from June to December, what do you experience? Which season? एक और नाम है उसका. Fall. Why do you call it fall? Because leaves start falling from trees, the ones which remain leafless in winter. ठीक है? And the same trees in spring will start blossoming. So what is autumn? What is autumn? You are making the transition from summer to winter, you call it as, and when you make the transition from winter to summer, you call it as. तो अब ये बताओ कौन सा वाला में स्प्रिंग होगा और कौन सा वाला में ऑटम होगा? Which hemisphere should have autumn? Northern hemisphere will have autumn. So this season is autumn. At the same time, what will the southern hemisphere experience? Spring, because that is doing the transition from winter to summer. है ना? So this will be spring. Do we get it? So for the southern hemisphere it is spring, and for the northern hemisphere it is autumn. So autumn for northern hemisphere and spring for southern hemisphere. That's why I asked you not to write autumn equinox. क्योंकि वो वर्ड भी रॉन्ग है. किसके हिसाब से? सारी प्रॉब्लम के पीछे वही है. ठीक है, तो आगे बढ़े. Do you get it? Okay, now give me the others. So winter, summer is understood. Now what should happen when you are making the transition from December to June? अभी क्या होना चाहिए? Northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, December to June, spring, and southern hemisphere, autumn. Which equinox is that? March equinox. ठीक है, so September equinox, you understand which hemisphere, which season, and southern hemisphere, March equinox, which hemisphere, which season. Is this much clear? So season वीजन लिख करके डायग्राम बना लो. दिसंबर तक आपने कर लिया है. Please do write where you left that space in September. लिखा था ना, northern hemisphere will experience because of transition from summer to winter. वो पूरा लाइन लिखना है वहां पे. So September, northern hemisphere experiences autumn due to transition from summer to winter. autumn के साथ fall भी लिखना. थोड़ा बाहर भी देखो दुनिया, अपने आप समझ में आ जाएगा. नेचर को देखो, नेचर टेल्स यू ऑल द सीजन. ठीक है. So in September, northern hemisphere, autumn because moving from summer to winter. And southern hemisphere, September, summer hemisphere, southern hemisphere, spring, September, southern hemisphere, spring, because winter to summer. Is that okay? लिख लिया? Any doubt? कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लो. पक्का? Alright. So spring is when the flowers rise, at the end of winter and starting of summer. Sunlight चाहिए ना? ठीक है? Good. And then come to March. March equinox. What is March equinox? Tilt क्या है? Zero. March equinox, zero tilt with respect to sun. Northern hemisphere experiences spring due to transition from winter to summer. And वो लिख लीजिए. Southern hemisphere experiences autumn. So 21st March, zero tilt. 21st March, zero tilt. Northern hemisphere, spring. Moving from winter to summer. And southern hemisphere, autumn. Moving from summer to winter. Is that okay? This is how revolution on a tilted axis gives us seasons. ठीक है? So revolution on the tilted axis gives us season this way. All right? Very good. Now, just think of a few parts and then just imagine and give me an answer. Let me take the earth again. Now if I take the earth like this, and let me say I don't tilt it right now with respect to the vertical also. So I'm keeping it like this, all of you, please see, right? Exactly vertical, right? Not tilted towards you at all, and not tilted with respect to the plane also. Now, let us say your eyesight is the sun ray. You become the sun, so your eyesight becomes the sun ray. Okay. So where will your eyes, can you, from your eyesight, can you see both the poles? दिख रहा है अभी दिख रहा है both the poles? Both the poles you can slightly see or no? Rather than this position. Can you see both the poles? Can you see both the poles? Now I have tilted. You can't see the southern. You can't see the northern. Right? But right now you can see, which means sunlight will reach both the poles because your eyesight is the sunlight if you are the sun. So in equinox, sunlight will reach both the poles. Do we get? And if it is reaching both the poles, that also means where will the sunlight fall perpendicular? At the equator. At the equator it is falling perpendicular because there is no tilt. And now if I tilt it also, still sunlight will fall at equator only because with respect to you there is no tilt. Right? So on equinox, sunlight falls perpendicular over the, this I want you to write. ठीक है, ये लिखना है. On the equinox days, there are two equinoxes, March and September, right? On the equinox days, the sunlight falls on both the poles. Equinox days, the sunlight falls on both the poles, and it falls perpendicular over the equator. So on equinox, sunlight falls perpendicular over equator. Clear? Is that okay? Very good. Now the next thing. Now suppose I have to start tilting the sun and the earth is like this, right? And this is your June position, aisa. And right now it is not tilted, right? So where is the sunlight falling? On the equator if the earth is not tilted. But then we know on this day the earth is tilted. Kitna tilt hai? 23.5. Which side? Northern hemisphere. So I will tilt the northern hemisphere towards you. By how much angle? By the way, just before that, where is the sunlight falling perpendicular? On the equator. So if I tilt it by 23.5, where will the sunlight fall perpendicular? Northern hemisphere. At which latitude? That you write down. Okay? That in June solstice, you write June solstice. On June solstice, जैसे equinox के लिए लिखा ना, so on June solstice the sunlight will fall. On June solstice the sunlight will fall perpendicular over which latitude? 23.5 degree north. पूरा लिखना है. ठीक है? North. On June solstice the sunlight will fall perpendicular over 23.5 degree north. ठीक है? And it will also fall on northern hemisphere, northern pole, but not at southern pole. वो भी लिखना है. It will fall on northern pole, but not over southern pole. You can't see the south pole, na? So if you can't see it, that means sunlight is not reaching there. वही आपका logic है. आपका eyesight is the sunlight. ठीक है? Then next, December solstice. December solstice. So ऐसा है. ठीक है? Initially it is not tilted, and then I'll tilt, and I'll tilt the southern hemisphere towards you. Okay? So first of all, when it was not tilted, sunlight will fall perpendicular over equator, but when it gets tilted by 23.5, so that southern hemisphere is towards you, where will the sunlight fall perpendicular? 23.5 degree? 23.5 degree? South? है ना? Right? And will it fall on which pole? And which pole it will not reach? North pole. ये तीनों चीजें लिखनी है. ठीक है? So on December solstice, December solstice. The sunlight falls on December solstice. Sunlight falls perpendicular. Sunlight falls perpendicular over the tropic of ट्रॉपिक नहीं, 23.5 डिग्री साउथ, वही लिखना है आपको, ट्रॉपिक वर्ड यूज नहीं करना है अभी, ठीक है, 23.5 डिग्री साउथ, राइट, एंड फॉल्स ऑन साउथ पोल बट नॉट ऑन नॉर्थ पोल. ओके, right? Now I give you all these 4 months that you have written for, starting from March equinox to June solstice. Please do draw with me. To September equinox, E is equinox, S is solstice. To December solstice, to next year March equinox. ठीक है? And what are you trying to show? Sun's perpendicular position round the year. Sun's perpendicular position round the year. That's what you are trying to show in this diagram. ठीक है? So first, I hope you understand the latitudes and the days. Round the year days है ना, तो वो मैंने उसके लिए अलग अलग लाइन बना दिया है. Alright? Right? So I have drawn from June to, March to March. Right? 3 month का gap है सब में. Alright? Done? Yes or no? Now, please tell me, on March, the first March equinox, where should I locate the sun? आपने लिखा है अभी? Where should the sun be? On the equator. And on June solstice, 23.5 degree north. And September, ध्यान से बोलो यार, 0 degree. And December, what? North south. And March, this is for how many days of the year? 5 days. ये तो 5 days का किया ना हमने, right? So if I draw all the other days also in between, 365 days. ठीक है, अब वो कैसा बनाओगे सर? ये लो, ठीक है, let me draw lot many days in between, and for all these days I ask you the position. ठीक है, right? So how will you position the sun now? Random या sequence? Is there a pattern or it is random? हाँ, random है ये. Pattern है कुछ? What is the pattern? Sine wave. That's the sine wave that the sun makes on the earth. I told you, maths is the language of nature. ठीक है? So on the earth surface you will get this kind of a sine wave made by sun's vertical position. ठीक है? Is that okay? Now, so if I ask you up to which maximum latitude sun is vertical overhead? Any part of the year, maximum latitude 23.5 है ना? So the maximum latitude up to which the sun remains vertical overhead is 23.5. After that, where will it go? Back. And the turning of the sun is called as tropic. The turning, this turn that it makes is known as tropic. Right? Turning ka, I think Greek word hai ye, tropic. Right? So you can see the sun turning there. So we call it as So which latitude does the sun turn from? And hence it is also called as tropic. Tropical latitude, because that's where the sun turns from. Okay, now the next thing. In June when it turns, okay, June May, what date is it? Something like 21st June. And what is the zodiac? Cancer. Hence, Tropic of Cancer. And in December 21st, Capricorn. Hence, Tropic of Capricorn. But it's not the zodiac basically. Zodiacs are based on constellations. ठीक है, constellation position पे zodiac based होता है. So that's when that constellation is behind the sun. So you don't see that constellation in the sky. You see all the others, but not that. So you call it as Tropic of Cancer. इसी तरह हमारा zodiac भी named है. That's why I say it has gone in the sun's house. हम बोलते हैं ना ये sun का zodiac है. तो sun का मतलब क्या है? That is not visible because it has gone behind the sun. ठीक है, that's what in your zodiac you call it as sun's house, and in astronomy we call it as behind the sun. Is that okay? Right? So this one becomes Tropic of Cancer, and the other one will become Tropic of Capricorn. नाम पता है, लॉजिक भी पता होना चाहिए. All right? So why do we, that's why I was asking you not to write that word, क्योंकि आपको तब तक मतलब नहीं पता था, आपने रटा हुआ था, बट अभी आपको मतलब भी समझ में आ गया क्यों बोलते हैं ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर और ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न. डू वी गेट इट? राइट? सो दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ द ट्रॉपिक्स. फर्स्ट, दैट्स वेयर द सन रिटर्न्स फ्रॉम. सो सन डज नॉट क्रॉस द ट्रॉपिक वर्टिकल ओवरहेड. ठीक है, एंड विच पीरियड इट टर्न्स, दैट्स व्हेन द अदर नेम. इज दैट ओके? सो ट्रॉपिक समझ में आ गया लैटिट्यूड में. अब कौन सा बचा? इक्वेटर. यू अंडरस्टैंड? इक्वेटर मीन्स इक्वल डिवाइडर. ट्रॉपिक मीन्स टर्निंग ऑफ द सन. अब बचा क्या? पोलर सर्कल्स. सो वील डू दैट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास. ठीक है, सो लेट अस स्टॉप हियर. नेक्स्ट क्लास वी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हियर एंड वी start with polar circle, understand that, then we go to revolution of the earth, sorry, rotation of the earth, longitude, time zone, ये सब करेंगे. Once that is done, all this is done, the next thing that, please, this is for you also, because I don't know how many back-to-back classes you'll get next time. So once this much is done, ये सारा कुछ, after that you start with atmosphere in NCERT. I have already told, I think पहले, नहीं बताया तो अभी सुन लो. Atmosphere वाला chapters, atmosphere and climate, that section we'll start. ठीक है, so start reading yourself. That's it. Thank you. Any major doubt? None? Sir, anything you want me to take up? Thank you. Thank you, online people.